Hello. It took me a few moments. I might have accidentally forgot to turn on a couple of lights and only noticed just beforehand. Welcome in. Good evening. Well, good afternoon. Good morning for some indeed as well. How is everyone this wonderful, wonderful Saturday? I hope you're all having a fabulous weekend. We have some beautiful, beautiful faces in already. It's 5:30 here in the UK. I don't know if that means it's afternoon or evening. In that kind of weird space that is kind of in between. I'm sure. I mean, like, some people have dinner at 5 p.m, so like it must be evening. None of that matters. Let's say hello. Let's say hello to Blue Lions, because Blue Lions is in. Lovely to see you. We've got DM Basis. We've got RJ as well. Lovely to see you all, gents. Have you settled on a dinner choice, DM Basis? That's the important question. We also have the glorious, the runaway quiz leader, Zerachal, mini-game leader, Zerachal even. We have FMG in as well, as is a bit of ease off tackles. We've got a bit of Brazilian Fury. We've got some Hung Min in as well. It's lovely, lovely to see you all. We've got Matto in. Welcome in, Matto. How are you doing? And thank you very much for the follow, Stephen Watt. Very, very much appreciated. It is lovely, lovely to see you all in. So Brazilian Fury, Musterman has my full permission to still use the Rennes game from season 12. That will be the next one, Brazilian Fury. In fact, so obviously the idea was it was going to be alternating, but with the Everton series being split across 5 episodes. So we've got skinning video coming up, hopefully, provisionally speaking, going to be next Friday. And then we've got then it'll be the counter class. Then there'll be another Moneyball clinic, another skinning video, and so on. We've got a whole plan. I think by the time FM24 is out, I might have just about worked through my backlog. So RJ, you took 3 showers today and you're still sweating like a fountain. That is pretty incredible. I mean, to be fair, I will be having another shower today after this. It's pretty... We've had to put on... Well, you can tell I haven't even bothered ironing. Today has very much been a naked day, topless day, up until the point where I have to publicly show myself. Zerachal says, just get a bowl and fill it with water and sit in it. A good shout. So ease of tackles, did you remove mini games from channel points? No, not at all. As you can see, DM Basis has redeemed one, and we will head on over to that in a couple of moments. Bangra, welcome in. Bangra QWERTY, thank you very much. From India, my word. So it's a little bit late in the evening for you this evening. So what, it must be around 10, 11 p.m. now? Thank you very much for dropping by. Lovely to see you. So DM Basis, got some tuna fish cakes in the freezer that you could chuck in the air fryer. Something along those lines. Just can't be asked cooking or eating hot food. That is understandable. Completely understandable. Zerachal feels pain though. PC room is the hottest room of the house, and today we're rocking the hottest day of the year, so I expect pain. Yes, exactly. So Panji's in. Welcome in. Lovely to see. Oh, Blue Lion says the afternoon ends at 5. Evening starts at 6. So what is that space between 5 and 6? Is that just like an unknown? Is it the Bermuda Triangle of times? So RJ's topless. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Not even a bra. Oh, well, yeah, I always have to wear a bra, to be fair. You know, gravity does horrible things to these moobs, that's for sure. So DM Basis, you owned an iron once. Welcome in, Darius. Lovely to see you. So Bangor, it's 10 p.m. over in India. Okay, so you must be quite over on there. Oh, I thought it was, 4.5 hours actually. Yeah, no, it's just my maths is bad. Flex them man boobies. I do a lot. Welcome in, Sherbs. Lovely to see you, my dude. Wilco's here as well. Great to see you. You guys have turned up just at the right time as well, because we're going to head into a round of Guess the Player, as we have that mini game redeemed. So if you're not been here before, let me explain exactly how Guess the Player works. Ignore that picture there. That is just a placeholder whilst I explain the rules. In a moment, you're going to see 4 pictures from a player's profile in FM24, one after the other. You're going to see the positions they play in, their attributes and traits, their coach report, and finally their club history. Your job is to guess who that player is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get, and those points get you onto that lovely little leaderboard just below me there. Now, one word to be aware of is that this is default FM24 database at the beginning of the game. So a player like Joshua Zirkzee, for example, is at Bologna, not Man United. Just something to be mindful of. So let's head on into that first clue. and see what we've got. So sadly, it's not Valderrama, it's not Jan Koller. Would have loved to have seen Koller with that haircut. Absolutely. Wouldn't it be good? It is also sadly not Sasa Lukic. We have here a left-footed right winger. So DM Basis is now topless and eating fruit pastels. What a time to be alive. Now that does sound like a good combination. Could it be Jared Bowen? Could it be Noni Madueke? It can't be Jack Grealish, unfortunately. He's definitely a right-footed player. It's whoever Zerachul says. The hope is we found someone that Zerachul won't guess. So could it be Cole Palmer or Jack Harrison? Could it be Jeremy Doku or Mohamed Kudus? Could it be Neto or Leroy Sane? Could it be, I'm guessing you're going for Nico Williams there, or it might be Inaki Williams. Could it be Giovanni Quenda or Vaclav Cherny? It is none of those. And we also have a Coritiba in. Hi, just in time indeed. Could it be Angel Di Maria or Ika Munayan? Well, let's see if the next clue will help at all. The next clue suggests that it's someone who's not that quick, but very, very good technically. Great dribbling, great first touch, great flair, shoots with power. Standard left-footed right winger thing. You know, they cut inside with the ball, tries tricks. Very exciting player. And it's not someone who's been mentioned yet. Welcome in MUFC Fortundy. MUFC Andy, welcome in. Thank you very much for the follow. So Wilco is wondering whether it could be Jeremy Pino. Could it be Raheem Sterling or Ricardo Quaresma? Someone old that likes a trick. It does look like it might be someone old, given that they've got quite some very, very good attributes in there. Now, just a reminder, it has to be a player that is left-footed. They've got a reasonable right foot, but they are left-footed primarily. So could it be Semenyo? I almost for a moment guessed that was going to be Castor Semenyo. It's definitely not Castor Semenyo, but it's not Antoine Semenyo either, unfortunately. Is it another go for Quaresma there? Could it be Lamine Yamal? Could it be Nicolas Gonzalez, Silva, Ziyech, Gomez, William even? Is Robin still going? Sadly, I think Robin is retired now. But we've got some very, very good guesses in there. We haven't got the right guess yet, but we do have some very, very good guesses. Let's head on over to the next clue, see if that helps at all. So it's not sadly Lucas Podolski or Willian or Alexis Sanchez. We have here a Serie A player that's a squad player, but might be past his best. Injury prone, very, very injury prone. So could it be Pepe? Could it be Mahrez? Could it be Paz? Could it be Pedro? Could it be Chakanoglu? It's none of those, unfortunately. Lost me at Serie A. Now, it is of course worth checking. I mean, what type of Serie A is that? There's more than one Serie A, that's for sure. And only one of them has the accent above the E like that. Just, you know, something to be mindful of. So could it be Dudu, El Shaarawy, Politano, Berardi, Neres, Pulisic? Oh shit, that's Brazil, says DM Bassist. Exactly. It is not the Italian Serie A. Welcome in, B. Lovely to see you from Serbia. Hope you're doing well. So, could it be Gabigol? Could it be Neymar? Could it be Esteval? Now, of those, Neymar is probably the only one that's probably in the maybe past his best category. Esteval, Gabigol definitely have their career ahead of them for sure. Could it be Felipe Anderson? Coritiba, now is your time. This is very Coritiba coded indeed. Could it be Coutinho? Could it be Pato or James Rodriguez or Willian? It is none of those, I'm afraid. We are looking for a left-footed, can use their right foot, but left foot, strong-footed, right winger, cuts inside, tries tricks, old, very injury prone. It's actually FM08 and it's Kurlon. Oh, I mean, Kurlon does try tricks, to be fair. Like, if ever there was a player that the term tries tricks was specifically made for, it would have to be Kurlon, right? So we've got some more guesses coming in. Could it be Guilherme or Hulk? We've got 2 guesses for Hulk. Could it be Oscar? It is not Hulk. Let's reveal the final clue and see if the clubs can help us a little bit there. We have a player that starts FM24 at Fluminense, has been in America, has been in Germany, has been in Italy, and Sir Darius comes in just moments, sheer seconds ahead of Coritiba and Oxystar. It is indeed Douglas Costa. That is a fantastic point, making its way to you, Sir Darius. Beautiful work, and the applause is coming in. From Blue Lions, we've got the applause. We've got it from Zerachel. We've got from RJ. RJ never would have guessed. I think we've done an okay job of finding a player that's well known enough, but maybe not necessarily right at the forefront of people's minds. That is some sensational work, said Darius. Fabulous work. Shakhtar and Bayern sold it. Exactly. Shakhtar era Douglas Costa was incredible, and somewhat appropriately DM basis, very FM08 coded. I think it might have been FM09 that he was particularly amazing, but yeah, it was around that point at Shakhtar. Sensational player. Right, let's get you caught up with where we are. So we left off the stream having just got into the January transfer window. We are halfway through the season. We've just demolished Fiorentina 5-1. And that's allowed us to close the gap to them to 4 points in the league. As we can see, the biggest issue is we have drawn a lot of games. An away draw against Inter is a good result. All of those other games are pretty awful results, to be completely and utterly frank with you. We lost to Cagliari, who are in 19th. Sorry, we drew with Cagliari, who are in 19th. We lost to Genoa, who are in 18th. But there were also points dropped there against Sampdoria, against Empoli, against Bologna, Udinese. Of them, only Udinese and Empoli are in the top half. It's been a little bit of a disappointing start to the season. But we've made some changes to our tactics. We're now set up in a 4-4-2, which I'm calling Milan, because of our out of possession stuff. And we've got, I mean, it is basically a 4-2-3-1, but it's the fullback that comes up to create the 2-3-5 thing and stuff like that. And we need to reinforce. So we spent some time looking at transfer targets over on Thursday evening. And after a lot of consideration, we put a bid in. Well, we put a bid in for a couple. We put bids in for Roberto Piccoli, a 31-year-old target forward currently at Bologna, who scored 9 goals this season, doing quite well. Scored 15 last season. And he very much fits our mould of a nice big boy to play as the poacher. But he's not for sale, and all our bids were rejected. So we've moved on to Juan Carlos Couto. So DM basis, Shakhtar around that time was fantastic. Yeah, when Shakhtar was in Brazil, exactly. Douglas Costa was pretty good in Pep's Bayern, managed to disrupt the Ribery duo at times, absolutely. Played 10 times in the Brasileiro for Fluminense. I don't remember him there at all. They were signing a lot of older injury-prone players. I mean, it was Marcelo, Ganzo, like it's just a German Cano as well. Just as long as you were 35 and unlikely to play more than 10 games a season, you would be signed by Fluminense. And then you would play Fernando Deniz's really high-intensity relationism style, which is definitely what 35-year-old players want to be doing. Bill Houdini's in. Welcome in, Bill. How are you? So Blue Lions asks, are you excited for the Club World Cup as a fan of a non-European club? I mean, it's a great question. Who will be following the Club World Cup? Because it does kick off in only a couple of days. Should be. I'm looking forward to it. I like to be a bit of a night owl, so actually, I like sleeping as well. We'll see how it plays out. But the timings for it, I think, are going to be great. So he's off tackles remembers Douglas Costa absolutely ruining Bellerin at the Emirates. You'd like to see some legendary photos of mid-Brazilian players marking Dembele. It's going to be quite fun, isn't it? Right? It starts on so it's tomorrow evening, technically Monday morning for me over in the UK. So I was it tonight at 1 a.m. I thought it was tomorrow at 1. I thought it was Monday morning at 1 a.m. Oh, if it's tonight, I've completely and utterly misjudged that. That's even better. Let me see. No, it is tonight. It is tonight indeed. Fantastic. 1 a.m. tonight. Beautiful. Al Ahly versus Inter. The time difference is confusing. It can indeed. Where can it be watched? Totally legal footballstreams.com, Matto. 100%. I didn't say that. Right, so yeah, we've put in a bid for £24 million for Juan Carlos Couto. He has currently scored 16 goals in 23 games this season, playing for Celta Vigo. He's 6 foot, but wins 44% of his headers, scoring at an incredible rate. He's generally been all right. He's had plenty of seasons in double figures, despite only being quite young. Signed for £7.5 million by Celta Vigo. Got a release clause for £24 million. He looks to be a good player. We've got some concerns about adaptability, but no concerns about consistency or injury proneness or anything like that. He's quick, good movement. Like, there's a lot to like about Juan Carlos Coto. But he is young, 24 years old, and we're building something a little bit older at the moment. No, not necessarily everyone has to be old, but a little bit. So legalist of all the streams, exactly. A car team is going to watch it to make fun of the much bigger and better clubs my friends support when they get smashed 4-0. That's the joy of football, right? That is the joy of football. So Foul News is a suggestion. Indeed, obviously I wouldn't advocate for such, but that sounds like an idea. So your favourite what totally legal website got taken down. I don't understand why they do it. It's legal as well. That's the whole point. So RJ's got a subscription that covers it. Now that's the sensible way of doing things. So the thing I love about totally legal football streams is all that legality. Exactly. Right, so I've had to go through the whole squad. This is our squad currently, with the youth players that I think we've got kind of in the under-20s and under-18s teams, who maybe they aren't necessarily ready straight away, but we kind of got to be considering them in terms of their progression to the first team. So generally speaking, we are okay in goal. We've got our first choice goalkeeper. We've got a backup out on loan currently at Como. We've got another young backup who's we've asked them to extend the contract on there, and then we've got a goalkeeper that we're trying to get rid of. So we're kind of covered there, no real worries at all. At right back, I think that now that we're playing with just a full back on support, we don't need quite as attacking players. So we've got Pizza Pasta who can play out there. He's got decent passing, but we've also got Zanotti and Hammer there, and we've got a young player called Emiliano Piergentili who hopefully can step into that role long term. Right centre back, we've got Monterisi, 31, got plenty of good years ahead of him. Hasuki as well, very young, plenty of good years ahead of him. No worries there. Left back, we've got Rod. We've got Wojciech out on loan, who's playing quite well at the moment out on loan. We've got De Feo, who's just come back from loan and is likely to be sent out on another. So we do need perhaps some cover, a left-footed cover at centre back. Left back, we've got Theo, we've got Albert Navarro, we've got H.J. Bockers. We've just extended Bockers, triggered an extension on Bockers. Theo's contract will expire at the end of the season, but kind of covered there, so that's not too much of a problem there. A subscription, isn't that the illegal method? That is the illegal method. Good thing nobody sees I can't spell. Thank you, Zeratrol. Thank you. No one can. Paying to watch football is very silly. So welcome in, Mountainous Region. Thank you for making the skin complete change to the game for me. Just won the Scudetto in your first season with Cagliari. Fabulous stuff. Well done. That is an incredible achievement. So ease off tackles. Only time I pay is for actual match tickets. That's quite reasonable. That is quite reasonable. So RJ's a madman who spends €10 a month for all European football and Jupiler Pro League. I'm guilty of one. I mean, to be fair, if I could get away with spending just €10 a month to get everything, I would absolutely do that. The way that we have things split up over here in the UK between so many different broadcasters, it's just so obscenely expensive. And then don't get to watch the games that I want to watch anyway. So Bill says the skin is game-changing indeed. Never went back to numerical attributes after I tried it. It's going to be really weird when we get to FM26. It's going to be very, very weird trying to readjust for dealing with proper attributes. Welcome in, George. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. So defensive midfield, we've got a young lad called Giovanni Pirelli. He's quite good passing, vision, not much flair, so could probably fit that deep line playmaker on defence role. Defensive work does need improving though. That would be my only concern. That is a notable concern because they're things that can't be trained directly. So there is a long-term succession plan there. Reinder's contract will be up at the end of the season. So maybe we could do with some extra depth at defence midfield. But at a push, we could get away, I think, next season with running with Pirelli. Left, we've got Kari, we've got Kajuste. We don't really have a long-term prospect for this role. So that's something as well. Where we do want youth is the left-sided defence midfielder here, which is just a plain defensive midfielder in our setup. So let's pop over. We've got on the right wing, we've got Nuama, we've got Mosconi, who we bought in. Nuama's been our best player this season. Mosconi, I think there's still a player in there, which I'm fine with. We've got a youngster called Barbieri, who we've just done a trigger contract on as well. He's currently on loan at Vitesse. He's doing okay, dribbly, creative. Kind of fits the bill. We're all right in that regards. DM basis, yeah, your issue isn't the paying for it, it's that every single bloody subscription needed. Club World Cup is on DAZN, which is 20 quid a month, unless you pay for a year up front. Exactly. So when, you mean if we get to FM24, 100% I mean when. 100% I mean when. So we've got Cole Palmer to play that role in behind the striker. We've got Gianni Ricci, who's out on loan at Sparta at the moment. He's not been great. Truth be told, he's been playing as a central midfielder for half that time. He's been better when he's played further forwards, but he's not been sensational. But from an attribute point of view, he's got good vision, good technique of first touch and flair. He's got decent enough off the ball. So maybe there's a player that in time could develop into someone all right. Definitely, we want to address this position in this transfer window. Up front, we've got Kerem, who's going to probably be joining Besiktas when his contract expires. We've got Bonato. We've got a young striker out on loan who's not scoring goals. 4 goals in 16 games for Luzern. But we'd potentially be looking at him as the false 9. So that's okay. Long term, we might have this position covered. We've got it covered in the short term for sure. Up front, we've got Isaac. We've got Pineapple Pizza. Pineapple Pizza has had a pretty torrid time to things this season. He has had lots of goals disallowed. So I'm thinking that we want to get someone in. That's why we bid on Koto, because Isaac's been all right. He's got 6 goals now, most of them in the last few games. But I don't think he's not meant to be our starter. He's meant to be our rotation offer. Send Pineapple Pizza out on loan. Daniele Busa is a player that we're probably going to be sending out on loan for a couple more years, because he's currently playing for Osasuna, where he scored 2 goals. I don't think that's someone we can rely on. And then we've got a young 18-year-old called Manuel Pirello, who is scoring for fun for our youth teams. And he looks like he's kind of got the starting of a decent profile of a poachery type player. Good jumping strength, acceleration, pace. I'd like to see his work rate improve. He can head. He's got decent first touch, decent movement, decent finishing. So I think he can kind of be the right kind of profile potentially as he improves. So our needs: starting striker, rotation attacking midfielder, a future starting deep lying playmaker, a young defence midfielder, a backup left centre back. So that's a lot of things to do. Now, part of that makes me feel that I wouldn't mind sticking with some older players for the starters. So DM basis, if you could pay even £30 a month for football, you do it in a heartbeat. That's the thing, and that's an obscene amount to be paying as well. 350 quid a year to watch TV seems madness to me, but it would be a good deal over here. It would still make it a really good deal. George, you're caught up with chat. Almost. A seas off tackle spent 26 quid on 6 shots for Villa away at the NAR Spoons at New Street. Still haven't recovered. I mean, that's because you're at the Spoons. You don't want to know what's in those shots. So RJ still doesn't understand why we can't train tackles in FM. Yeah. Yassine's in, welcome in, lovely to you. Thank you, brother. The classes XML files help change the max pizza percentiles. No worries at all. It's a very, very tedious job, but it's relatively straightforward once you've got the underlying data. So, Bangor, when will the skinning video start dropping? I'm hoping on Friday, but it is very big. In fact, you know what? I don't know how to show this off. I've been sitting on it for a while. Have we actually done anything? I might have done something. Let me just save the game. Let me load up an alternative save, because I want to show off the nonsense I've been doing. Let's see. We need a save to use. Let me pull out the most recent Moneyball Clinic Everton. Let's quickly load that up, and then I'm going to pop over. So it's going to take it's going to be a lot of editing, probably going to be squeezing out over a number of different videos, but it's going to take quite a long time to put together, which is why I'm only being tentative about this so far. So let's see. If I do that, and then got loads of adjustments that I need to do. If we pop here to this one, and I get this changed to that, yeah. Gonna see everything. Can I? Sorry, you're gonna see loads of things changing on your screen all at the moment because all my interfaces are very, very small. So what I've been doing is I've been looking at the default, the screenshots that we saw for Football Manager 25, and we now have potentially Football Manager 25 will be available. Football Manager 25 looks a little bit like this, maybe. I don't know. A lot has probably changed since we last saw the screenshots, to be completely honest. But so the idea is going to be is that we're going to look through how you would build a skin from scratch, taking some inspiration from what already exists there, exploring various things like creating your own graphics, creating buttons that hide and reveal different information as you go through the page, how, as well as some of the more simple things like just adjusting layouts and moving things all around the place. So, you know, it's hopefully this is something quite cool. It's going to take, I say, just explaining how to do the top bar is probably a half-hour video in its own right. So we're going to have to break it down, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes and how that can be received. So let's pop back on over to the proper thing. Let's go new stream main. So I need to just wait for that. Can I do that from this bit? Trying to work out where I can click to readjust the screen. So that's going to be the plan for the next video coming up. But it's going to be a lot for me to try and put together in a way that makes sense. You know, you can hear me waffling right now. That's why I need to script things, because I can go off on tangents very, very easily. So RJ, hope you're right, sir. I hope you're right. We hopefully, fingers crossed. Security subscribes to a streaming service where you have access to everything ESPN has broadcasting rights to, like the Uruguayan second tier and the main European leagues. Also have a subscription to a service where you watch telenovelas that comes with a broadcaster sporting section as well. That is a fabulous combination. Right, there we go. Let's get back on over here. It's almost certainly deleted what I did with the squad planner, because I don't think I pressed continue any time after that. And sometimes FM is a little funny, but that's all right. So remove that nickname and Pineapple Pizza will perform just fine. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We just need to send him out on loan. So what I was thinking is we had a look at some other players, but there's a couple of Italian strikers that have, for one reason or another, we evidently don't have any information on. I'm wondering whether they could be the solution. Gianluca Scamacca and Matteo Retegui should both be around that age that we like for our high-profile players, right? Like our old man strikers, proper poacher type of personality. I think we even talked about Scamacca during the last stream as being the kind of profile of striker that we like, that someone who ideally would get better as they get older as well. So let's get these guys scouted. I think that they could be the answer rather than these, you know, who needs young players? We've got Pineapple Pizza, we've got Mosconi, we've got some youth players that potentially are there on the fringes for the future. Let's embrace the old boys. We decided that Gyökeres probably wasn't the right player for us. But maybe, I mean, we have absolutely no information on them, do we? But I mean, like, Scamacca's the kind of player whose reputation is high enough that we probably know his attributes. I mean, he hasn't scored a league goal this season, but he's barely played. His contract's due to expire as well. So that means we'd probably be able to get him for a decent price. So he's winning his headers. He's scoring at a great rate, but it's in the Copa de Su Majestad del Real, or Copa del Rey, I think is much easier to say. He's never really started consistently since he was at Real Sociedad, and at that time he scored 17 goals from 22 starts in the league. Did really well for Atalanta in the save after West Ham got rid of him. Did kind of fall off towards the end there. But I do feel like Scamacca's a kind of player we'd be looking at. What was his wages? He's under 100k at the moment. And then Matteo Retegui, like the young upcomer, now at 33. He's only scored 3 goals in 8 games. 8 starts, that is. He's down as not for sale. I'm guessing we probably have a reasonable picture of his attributes there as well. Scored double figures every single season. Like, I feel either of them could be a decent option, perhaps. Perhaps. As a DM basis, it's mental because you're a Rangers fan. Unless the odd game gets on Sky, there's no way for me to watch them play. Exactly. Exactly. Corti, but Sergio Broccoli is a real regen name. It is the only reason he is on our shortlist is because he's called Sergio Broccoli. I'm not sure he's going to be the answer for anything that we're looking for at any point at all. RJ Mir is the best goalkeeper in the world, without a doubt. Man United top 10, just. Good evening, Draw. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Thomas, so that skin, by the way, is something we're going to be working on a new video, talking about or showing people how to make skins themselves. Because it's about time that we have that conversation, just in time for it no longer to be relevant when a new game will eventually come out. Welcome in, Vex. How are you? You'd rather watch paint dry than the Uruguayan second league. Veghorst was an animal when you signed him at 32. We love our old strikers. We're looking for the latest Davi Selka. And if we can get them to be Italian whilst we're in Serie A, that would be absolutely incredible. Voltemada is a proper poacher. He is indeed. How old is Voltemada now? He's probably around that right age as well for us. He's got to be 30 or so. Maybe a little on the young side. His contract is expiring. Currently, though, down in the Zweite Bundesliga, as he has been for most of his career. In fact, when he's been had a season of double figures in the Bundesliga there. But Voltemada is a good player. Is he on our radar at all? He isn't. He isn't, and he isn't Italian, so we won't take a look at him. So young players are not in Milan's culture. Only 30 plus, exactly. Although it is worth pointing out that the board are devastated that we've not been signing under 23s for the first team. So it sounds like they want to change the culture, and we are just steadfastly refusing. So yeah, I'm thinking that Scamacca, his contracts. Wants to return to Italy. No one else is interested in him. Oh. Do I just pull the trigger? I would love to have them in by the next league game. That said, we've got loads of cup games that I'm not particularly bothered about. So, you know, our next, we do potentially have 2 weeks, which is enough time for a scout report to come in. Oh, I'm wondering whether we just pull the trigger on Scamacca. That would be very irresponsible. Very, very irresponsible. But he is a good player. Or he is in real... I like him in real life. See what the demands are. Okay, the demands are a little bit higher than what it suggested. It suggested about between like 8 and 10, and that's gone up to 13 to 16. But that's less than the 24 we'd be spending on Koto. Wages are reasonable. Wages can be even more reasonable. Doesn't want to be a starter, but I think he would be. Do you know what? Let's see if we split the difference. Do it at 15 and a half. Right, okay, let's step out of that one. Let's do it as a pre-contract deal. 95, play 15 games, 115 games. 105 and 20 games. 105 and 15 games. Fine, 110k. I went to the Donald Trump School of Negotiating. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Maybe we I like the idea of Scamacca. Lorenzo Luca is a player we did take a look at. So we saw he's at Marseille, I believe. Yeah, Marseille, look at that. There we go. We've got the memory going. He's on a much higher wage. He is the right age profile. He's also not been what's his? Oh, it's the not for sale, wasn't it? Yeah, there's another one where they just weren't going to be interested in letting him go, and with him having only just been signed for like quite a reasonable amount of money, I don't think that he was going to be someone we could realistically imagine would be part of our squad. So now we want an attacking midfielder. We've got loads of money, right? And when we set out with a save, it was very much we will use data where we need to, but it's not a strictly Moneyball type save. So let's, we can, if we want to, go a little bit overboard, as we did with Kevin Menya, who is now called Bjorn Rod. Goals per 90. And ideally, I'd like someone with a good left foot. They don't need to be left-footed. Just at least strong, I think, should be the focus here. If we start at around 0.2 on each, that's 21 players. That seems like a reasonable number. If we go to transfer listed, so there's a guy called Benjamin Esdorf who doesn't want to join. I can't see who the other one is, so it's further down. Lower recommendation from the looks of things. Oh, we've got a Crodmo in. Lovely to see you, my dude. How are you? Yes, I think you've seen him before. Indeed. You hate the song, but that's beside the point. Doesn't matter as long as the reference exists. It's all that matters. I was beaten. I was indeed. Retigui is another one who's on that not for sale valuation. So I have a feeling we're not going to be able to get him, and there's no option to ask an agent there, as you can see. So we don't get much of an idea. We've already had a look at a couple of other players that were not for sale. That was the issue with Roberto Piccoli as well. So I think Scamacca's our best choice, potentially. Anyway, let's have a look at these attacking midfielders. So El Almrani was a player that wanted like 500,000 euros a week. That's completely off the table. Mastantuono, bit of a fringe player, not really enough minutes to judge on, but he is creating and scoring, which is cool. Fairly injury prone, which is less cool. Yeah, all right. Oh, wow. Wow, that is an underwhelming career. As much as I like to splash the cash, I'm not particularly interested in splashing the cash on a player that has barely played at all in 7 years. Do you think we're going to get FM26 this year, Daniel? I do indeed. I think that given the fact that they've started their larger testing capacity as shown by their adverts for QA, suggests that they are probably on course where they would expect to be. So, well, I don't know the inner workings of SI, but what you would generally expect is that they have an internal team of QA that works with them all year round, and then when they come towards the period where they're about to release, they step up hirings for a larger team of QAs to be able to deal with many more scenarios. And that would normally be happening around this kind of time. We've seen the adverts for those go out in the past around this time of year. So that suggests that they're in the right position in their cycle. So Demba thought we had a look indeed.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Right, let's go away from whoever that was, Suslov, and let's have a look up Romeo Vermont. Romeo Vermont is currently a striker at Newcastle, 6 foot tall, wins 13% of his headers.
Oh, fucking, do I not like that?
Scores, double his XG at the moment, none of them are penalties, very much on the fringes. We don't have any scouting information on him, that's not much of a surprise. His career, so he's just moved to Newcastle. He's been very good for Bruges. There we go, got 20, 17, 19, 15, got himself a 50 million euro move. Is there any add-ons on there? Potentially up to 67 million, which would be crazy money. 28 caps for Belgium, 7 goals. Hey, he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Sadly, I don't think we're going to be able to pry him away at this point, though. So Gula and Man United. Gula was on loan at AC Milan when we took over. But I think like when we took over, there was like a day and then he left, and there was no clause built into the loan to bring him in permanently. Right, so Suslov is doing all right over at Ajax, is playing enough minutes, which is perfect. He's playing as an attacking midfielder on the right most of the time. A reasonable goal output, nothing sensational, nothing bad. Attribute-wise, doesn't really stand out, but that's not awful. No injury problems, it's consistent. Over the course of his career, some pretty decent seasons in the Eredivisie. When in La Liga, didn't play much when he was in league. Whilst he was at Hellas Verona at the start of the game, he was kind of okay. I mean, Suslov looks like a player that might be I don't think he's not exciting, is he? But if we're committed to Cole Palmer being the starter, then as a backup, he's probably okay. Might be a bit dear for a backup though, in my opinion. So Gula's the one that Real signed, indeed. Oh, so indeed, Mastuento. I don't know how to pronounce it. So what club is Pafundi at? Pafundi, I have a feeling I saw him at some point. He hasn't played much. No, he's played quite a lot. I'm completely wrong. He is at Newcastle. He's on 300k a week, which is far beyond what we'd be willing to pay anyone. But look, he's doing reasonably well, creating and scoring, not doing much else. Playing as a striker though mainly, so actually, we look at that, he's not that prolific for a striker, but does do the other stuff a little bit better. Have a look there. No scouting there. So he moved to Newcastle back in the 26-27 season, and kind of he's been all right. Nothing special. Did well over with Monaco though. Not going to fit our striker mold, but maybe a consideration if his wages were lower, but not at 300k for sure. Rich Sun is in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? You still await the forecast thunderstorms. Oh, I would kill for a thunderstorm right about now. So Dan basically got thunderstorm warnings for tonight as well, but no signs so far. It's been miserable but warm. That's the problem. That's the worst combination, right? So Rich had the weirdest FM bug ever, managing to duplicate the player. Indeed, saw over in the Discord. It does seem like is it definitely your actions duplicated, or there wasn't like some kind of weird duplication that already existed beforehand? So you and Mad Scientist are baffled. Obviously a bug in the pre-game editor. It's crazy indeed. So Rich, it's pleasant quite now. Parts of yesterday evening were really muggy and sticky. We are very much in the muggy and sticky moments of the evening already right now, down here in the south. So Crummo, we had yellow thunderstorm warnings yesterday. There were 0 thunderstorms. It was very disappointing. Right, Kovalenko currently playing for Zenit, so that's not a league we've got loaded. So we take this with a pinch of salt. Attribute-wise, good vision, good finishing, good off the ball is quite useful. We've only got marginal knowledge though, so actually we don't know. Like an inactive league, I'm not that keen on. Right, Arda Güler. So Arda Güler, not played enough minutes to judge on there. Now, he does do all the things that I like. Passing, dribbling, beautiful stuff. Off the ball, I prefer to be a little bit better, but vision and flair is great. He tries everything, absolutely everything. Left-footed, in his prime, transfer listed. So 81 million would be crazy money. Comes down to wages, really, in my feelings there. So he was on loan before we took over. 13 goal contributions in 16 league games is pretty decent. How much of that is perhaps an injury related? Nothing to suggest that he's injury prone. Oh. So I like the look of Gula. Potentially. Maybe a little young for what we're looking to do, but we do have Carl Palmer in that spot anyway. So, Elska Football says, try to join the Zealand League, else you're not going to watch. So I don't have any plans on joining the Zealand League, Elska, I'm afraid. So if that means you're going to pop off, I do apologise. But at least I've let you know nice and early, so I'm not stringing you along. But it does sound like it's going to be something quite interesting, that's for sure. Absolutely. But at the moment, I struggle with my workload as it is at the moment. When it takes me like over a week to make videos, so I need to be quite mindful of the commitment element, I'm afraid. Gula doesn't have enough traits. He really doesn't, does he? So, Joan, will there be a bingo tonight? There will almost certainly be a bingo tonight. Almost certainly. We've got a handful of mini games ready for tonight, and bingo is almost always within that selection. So the sun's finally out in Brazil, but you're not going out because of the Le Mans. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. Right, Ivan Illich at Real Madrid. 720 minutes is probably a little on the low side for judging. He's been playing a lot deeper, which is kind of what you'd expect, to be fair. No real standouts there. No concerns. So, I mean, there's nothing to suggest that he's going to be the kind of player who can really help us in the final third. But, you know, interesting at least. Let's have a look at Enzo Milo. Enzo Milo has been playing as an attacking midfielder enough. 1,000 minutes is great. Scoring is basically from penalties, but he's creating chances. Not carrying the ball maybe as much as I'd like to see. Attribute-wise, passing, vision, flair, great. Just dribbling I would like to see as well. So does good in that regards. No concerns from his scout report, so that's encouraging. 4 of the last 5 seasons reached double figures for goals. Not quite hit double figures for assists, but it's been reasonably close on a couple of occasions. Now, I don't feel like he's as exciting an option as Gula and could potentially cost as much as him, but slightly lower wage demands. So, you know, there's some hope there, perhaps. So, Richard, it's definitely your actions that unleash the bug. When you pick the player, he appears twice in the team list, so it looks like you have 12 players. Unique ID is identical, which should not be possible. That is bizarre. Bizarre indeed. So the Carreras, the city used the same warning alert they used for wars to warn people because it rained a little more than usual once. In the middle of the night, you almost got a heart attack. That is quite dramatic. Very, very dramatic. Yigit recommends Alvin Sanchez. Could well be a cheap option. I think he's in our list, isn't he here? So we'll see what happens when we get down to him. Quite possibly. Yeah. Like sending out a warning for wars for weather is anxiety inducing, surely. Right, Ricardo Quinones. Quinons. We'll go for all of them. Not played enough minutes to really judge on that regard. Attribute-wise, good vision, good flair. Passing and dribbling could do with some work, but he's young, can use both feet. Tries killer balls often. I like that. Comes to get the ball. I like that as well. Adaptability problems, consistency problems. Again, consistency for a 21-year-old, that's kind of understandable. Some, though, potentially to be a backup might be okay. So he had a couple of good seasons out in Colombia. Hasn't really been given much of a chance at Newcastle. I mean, again, perhaps a bit on the expensive side for someone who would definitely be a backup. Like the idea of spending 80 million euros on a starter, I'm fine with. The idea of spending 50 million on a backup makes me feel a little bit less confident. So almost certainly, it's happening. Oh, riot! That's fair. I look forward to the riot. So, Rich, I remember you going for a job long ago. Did you get it or anything else? Or was all your current work FM content related? So, majority of my week is spent job searching. I didn't get it. I am still looking. I am very, very much in the throes of absolute panic. But yeah, we still carry on there. But in terms of, like, I've always committed. Generally speaking, I've put myself in a position where, whilst I was still employed, I was committing a full working week on top to FM content. So that's another 40 hours a week. And that's what I still do. So I spend my daytime searching for jobs and learning new stuff so that I can try and bullshit my way through applying for new jobs. And then spend another 40 hours on the FM stuff as well. So Ricardo Conan's, I can do that one. So welcome in, Puck Hassan. How lovely to see you. How are we feeling today? Feeling good. So RJ lives next to the Bluestone Quarry, where they use explosives to break it. They use bomb alerts for that. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, first time you legit got scared. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Right, okay, we've got a break coming up. I told you guys wouldn't press continue in the first hour for sure. Hence starting a little bit earlier, because nobody's going to miss anything if we do so. Right, we've got a 3-minute break. Well, I'm going to go do my little walk around, poison my lungs, turn the fan up even higher for a short period so that I can cool down a bit. I will see you in 3 minutes. Right, and we're back. I hope Zerachol has managed to find fan 2. That sounds like a very, very fine idea. I said I've just spent 3 minutes with myself right up next to the fan. Oh, I'm so not looking forward to the next few months as we hit proper summer. Rich, thank you very much for the kind wishes. I'm sure it will work out eventually. Just a little bit more patience regarding. Right, so we've got a mini game that's going to be a round of Only Connect. Now, if this is the first time you've been in these streams, let me explain how it works. In a moment, you're going to see 4 pictures of football players, one after the other. They all share some kind of common connection, and your job is to guess what that connection is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. And more points you get, you end up on that scoreboard up there. Now, these connections could be something along the lines of they've all played for the same team or under the same manager. They all have, share a particular record, for example. But normally we stream on a Friday, and on a Friday the connections are a little bit more obscure. Maybe there's something abstract, like they've got the names of cheeses in their surnames, or they all had a separate career in a professional sport outside of the current one. Now, this isn't Friday, it's Saturday. We've moved everything back, so today is a Friday-esque Only Connect, meaning it's going to be just a little bit more tricky than normal. So let's head on over to the first clue and see if we've got any ideas from here. Now, if you know who the player is, pop it in chat. Just often, but everyone will know. But if not, it's good to have everyone on the same page. You know, because whilst there is a competitive element, it's also good to work together a little bit. So could it be that they all play football, kinda? Possibly. What's in store for us on a Saturday Only Connect? He says, indeed. Welcome in, Tad. Lovely to see you, my dude. So it says indeed Federico Chiesa. So Coritiba is going straight ahead with that they might all have names that mean church, which is a lovely guess. It's not that, but I do like that. Could it be that they all had fathers that played football? That would be a fine guess. It's not that, I'm afraid. The quiz is going, so if Aquilani comes next, I don't like where this is going. Why? What do you think what would be the connection then if it goes Chiesa, then Aquilani? So do they all have cheeses in their surnames? Sort of. What cheese is in Chiesa's surname? Are you going for Chiesa sounding a little bit like queso? So they all share names with Flintstones characters? Is there as in Federico for Fred, perhaps? Neither of them has kneecaps. That's possible. They all have Latin song first names in their name. Is Federico or is Chiesa a song? Fun fact, it just means church in Italian. That makes sense. So going for Federico Chiesa, and there's a Fred. Right, okay. Italians flopping at Liverpool would be the connection if it was going to be Aquilani next. Well, let's see. Is it Aquilani next? It is not. Iglesias is the common connection. So what's your thoughts with Iglesias being the common thread? Is there a Iglesias Chiesa, a Federico Iglesias? I can't even remember. There's Enrique Iglesias. I remember him. I can't remember else. So that is indeed Denny Dums, as you've called him, Denzel Dumfries. So is there a link at all that anyone can think of between Federico Chiesa and Denzel Dumfries? So they all have fast food in their name. So what's the fast food? It's not that, but I'd love to know what the connection is. Oh, we've got fries for Dumfries. Chiesa. I'm not getting it with Chiesa though, unfortunately. So are their surnames all cities or towns? That's a fabulous guess. It's not that, but it is a fabulous guess. So you were thinking singers. Julio might have been in Enrico. So, okay, we were thinking the same Iglesias. Sadly, it's not that though. All share first names with cinema icons. So you've got Denzel Washington and Federico Fellini. I love that. It's not that, but I do love that. Derchal's just guessing blindly. Quez is going for actors. I'm guessing the same thing. You're thinking of Denzel Washington. So all have the first name as Oscar winners. So we're very much down this actor path, which, you know, I'm not going to discourage, but I'm also not going to encourage. It's not actor related. But I do like the thinking. Shall we go on to the next clue, see if that helps at all? So our next clue is this fella. Do we know who this wonderfully mustachioed, ponytailed Australian man might be? I mean, just saying it like that pretty much narrows it down. As DM Basis, he is right. It is the St. Pauli lad, indeed. Is it D'Artagnan? I have a feeling he'd like to think he's D'Artagnan, or at least one of the three musketeers. So Crodmo is guessing that it's Shane McSurfboard, and it's not quite Shane McSurfboard. But I mean, I imagine that if he got to name himself, he would have called himself Shane McSurfboard. There we go, Jabbit's finally coming in to rescue chat. It is indeed Jackson Irvine. So do we have a connection potentially between Federico Chiesa, Denzel Dumfries, Jackson Irvine? Very, very confusing mix of players. And as we said, it's something a little out of the box. And I might have shut down suggestions over actors, but maybe thinking about other industries might help. Whether that's other creative industries or other sports or, anything at all, really. There might be a connection somewhere along the lines. So we've got Dumfries, Irvine. Come on, you're Scottish. So we've got music related, perhaps, all named after street names. They all share singers' names. They are some fabulous guesses. We're not quite there. Where's the Vale of Chiesa? I mean, when DMB guessed that it was city town names, I was like, oh, the next clue is going to really make you think that it is that, and it's sadly not. So Dumfries, Jackson, and Irvine are all place names. So is Chiesa. Come on, I'm sorry, it's not that. Sadly, it's not. Sadly, I wonder. I mean, there's probably going to be something with the last. No, I don't know of any connection with the last clue to cities, town names, I'm afraid. So they are all film companies, says Zerachal. RJ has said that they've all got a connection with F1. Could you be more specific, RJ? Have we got that their fathers were footballers, which is a fine guess? Sadly, it's not a football-related connection, Hassan. Very, very cruel in that regard. So RJ has said names of drivers. So, I mean, there is a connection there indeed. That would mean that the last player might have to be, I don't know, like Steven Schumacher, or maybe like someone to do with Fernando Alonso, perhaps. Like Xavi Alonso. Yes, like Xavi Alonso. Because that is a sensational 2 points making its way over to RJ. Because we have Andrea Chiesa, who drove for 3 races, 3 starts back in the 60s. We had Johnny Dumfries, as Crodmo mentions indeed, whose name isn't John or Dumfries. It's very weird that he went by that name. Then there is indeed Eddie Irvine, and finishing it off, Fernando Alonso. They all share names with FM drivers. Fabulous, fabulous work, RJ. Well done indeed. The applause from Jabbets, the applause from G&G. Goated guess, says Punkassen. Well done. Damn, says Yigit. Sensational work. Sensational work. That is really, really well done. DM Basis says boo. DM Basis, are you going to claim that there is a city called Xavi Alonso now? So was it intentional to sort it after starts? It kind of. The idea being that someone like Andrea Chiesa and Johnny Dumfries are likely to be less famous drivers. So as we move up through the list, we get players with more famous names. Because if we started off with like a Hamilton and I mean, I can't think of any footballers called Verstappen. I think it would have become far too obvious straight away. So that's what we're going with. Beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful work. Right, back to looking for players. Christoph Danek has been playing as an attacking midfielder left, so a left winger for AZ. 4 goals, 5 assists is okay, but expected assist there. He should have 1 assist for every 3 games, so should have at least 1 more assist already this season, so doing quite well. Good acceleration, good agility. Suggests that he might be more of a winger archetype than a creator. No, nothing exceptional over on this side here. We don't have enough scout. We need scouting. He's in the scouted list. Interesting. He's been okay. Nothing special. So apparently we've got him reasonably scouted, but it's in progress. I'm not sold on Danik. No, it doesn't really. Like, he is naturally an attacking midfielder, but his performance looks more like that of a winger, and we're not looking for a winger. So I'm not sure that's the answer we're looking for. You missed the chance to use Hamilton Rickard. Oh dear, bassist. I know. Hamilton Rickard was the very first one I started with, but I worry that would be confusing because he'd be the only one whose first name is a surname, Hamilton, but his surname would be the first name of another driver. I thought that might just be a little bit confusing. Your first point's in forever, RJ, and aren't they fine? Right, how's Lazar Samitic getting on? He's been playing as a central midfielder, so a little bit deeper. Doing all right, though.
Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in, the Guja. How are you doing, sir? Lovely to see you. How was the stream? You guys have arrived at a fabulous time, because we are doing a load of admin. And now, guys, if you're not following Guja,
we are in Champions League, man.
That was my next
Dilly
question.
dilly dong, come on.
dilly ding, dilly dong indeed. Go follow the Guja. Absolutely lovely gentleman. Currently managing Corn, which is ripe for so many puns. It's a really lovely save that he's doing. He's very much worth following. Yeah, so how did the stream go, my dude? We are currently in January in our second season with AC Milan, looking for attacking midfielders. And Lazar Samitic, yeah, maybe. He's creating, he's scoring. Those are the main things, right? He's playing deeper, so his dribbles are a little bit lower. But I would expect them to be higher considering his runs with ball through centre. From an attribute standpoint, vision and flair, that's great. Dribbling, passing, not too bad. And from a report, no concerns over injuries or consistency or adaptability. His release clause is crazy money, so it's very unlikely, along with his wage there. Not. That's a good season. Like, that's a really good season back in 28-29. An okay season the season after. 17 goal contributions in all competitions there. I'm not feeling it. Not at that price tag. I'm afraid. Managing Corn. What does Jonathan Davis think of this? Well, look, if Guja can be the man to teach Fieldy how to make his base not sound like shit, I would be all in favour of that. Valentino Rossi in the driver's seats. Now we're rolling. Well, hey. Managing Corn, it's farming simulator, indeed. So the stream is great. Corn is sitting in the playoffs with a 5-point gap and 4 games left. Fantastic. You're not really supposed to be up there in the first season of the championship. Is there a little bit of you that hopes that you don't get promoted so that you get another season to prepare yourself before you head up to the Premier League? Could you potentially throw it deliberately? Only 146 million. It's less than Wirtz. It is. But considerably older than Wirtz. So Yigit was an advocate for Alvin Sanchez. And Alvin Sanchez has proven to be very creative. He's contributing in all aspects there. Playing as a winger. Mainly as a winger. Has played a couple of games behind the striker, which is okay. 14 goal contributions in the Swiss League. It's okay. First touch, composure, anticipation, agility or elite. Doesn't really have elite in the things that I've been talking about, specifically passing, vision, flair, dribbling, but they're still at least at a good level. No concerns about injuries or anything like that. Very one-footed, but can play the role. So let's see. This is a really good season for him. He had a good season a few years back with Lugano as well. Very much on the... Right. Some moved on that season. Played a handful of games for Lugano. Then moved to Young Boys. Took a bit of a while to adjust to it from the looks of things. Celta Vigo. So his experience in a good league. The top league, sorry. Celta Vigo. Was okay. Under 20 million though. Like, if we're looking at a backup player, that's a good price point, right? That kind of fits in a little bit more with what we're talking about as possible backups. If we're looking for someone that's going to compete with Kyle Palmer, I'm not convinced. You're still strongly advocating for financial reasons. Yeah, as I said, like, I don't want to spend big money if it's a backup, but I'm happy to spend 80 million on like Arda, for example. Potentially maybe around a little bit less than that for Milo. If we're looking at starter qualities, we've got so much money we can't put any more into our wage budget, which means we've got 217 million euros to spend, 2.43 million per week wage budget as well. So we can extend ourselves a little bit, but I'm not going to be paying the 500k per week that El Amrani wants. Ideally, for a top player, I want their wages to be below 300,000 euros a week. Ideally below 250,000. Right, Michael Adams. Michael Adams has played the Devils minutes, and he's doing all right, to be fair. Is he playing as a striker? Actually, he's playing as a striker. So as a striker, he's proving to be prolific, creative in that role. Certainly suggests that he might be able to play deeper. Plays back to goal, plays 1-2s, is fine. Attribute-wise, he's got great movement, but otherwise nothing stands out. No major concerns though. No major concerns either here in terms of his pros and cons. Not really. So he had a season out on loan at Strasbourg, 4 goals in 17 games, but that would have been at age 22. Age 22, you'd expect him to be doing a little bit better than that. Otherwise, been very much on the fringes. 21 million euros. He's currently, there are some loan bids in for him. Maybe we don't need more English players. We've signed them. We're probably going to end up running into trouble if we try and sign another English player as well. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind. So the Guja, you're really not sure, to be fair. You're in season 10, started in tier 8, so the rise has been rapid, maybe too rapid. I mean, keep on riding it until, you know, the whole it's better to burn out than fade away, right? Just get up to the Premier League in record time and then just let it all collapse. It'll be fun if nothing else. So you get Arda would be worth it, but its wage demands could be insane as well. They could be. But we're going to keep on shortlisting and seeing if we've got anyone that, and then we'll look at that before going out and speaking to the agents. Oh, welcome in, Dutch FM. How are you doing, sir? Lovely to see you. There's another gentleman you should most definitely be following. An absolute gentleman. Part of the FMNL crew that sorted out the FMNL World Cup. An absolute gentleman as well. Go give him a follow if you're not already. It is so hot today. Tell me about it. We are melting. I don't know what... I genuinely don't know how I'm going to survive through the summer. Right, Christophe Lebron. LeBron James, indeed. He's got lots of goal contributions this season, which is cool. Playing as a midfielder left. Interesting. So he certainly seems like he's a winger rather than a attacking, like an attacking midfielder in the centre. But playing so deep and getting that many goal contributions is quite a surprise. Excellent pace, agility. Can't cross. Poor on the anticipation, which I think might be a bit of a concern at a high level. Yeah, nothing really stands out in that regard there. Adaptability, but otherwise consistent. Before this season, he middling the season before, kind of just breaking into the first team squad the seasons before that. So that's kind of understandable given his age at 21. Probably a bit dear for a player. Like he's a really good development option, right? But I think there's a lot of development that needs to go on for him because he's got to learn a new position, needs to improve in quite a few areas. So we'll keep an eye on him, but that's probably a no. Orlando Poulsen has played 1,100 minutes, but that's for Porto B. He has limited experience, none really at a top level at all. So we're going to move on from Rolando Poulsen. Yusuf Demir, however, is the right kind of age. Admiral Bundesliga, so do have to be mindful that is a level below, might be coming into the same issues that we ran into there with Poulsen. But good contribution. Let's see. Has he been in Austria all this time? Pretty much. First season he played a bit for, well, second season he played a bit for Leipzig, didn't really do much. And he's been blossoming, well, started to blossom this season. Yeah, I'm not sold there on Demir. Right, let's have a look at these guys. Everything sticks. You like warm weather. This is just too humid. Indeed. Indeed. So, Shiros asks, sorry, new to FM Moneyball. How does possession lost work? My striker is 4.28 for possession lost. Is this bad? No, that's good. So, possession lost is how many times you lose the ball. You want a player to lose the ball as infrequently as possible compared to the amount of times they touch it. So, if we take a look at two players here, we've got Alexander Isak. He's losing the ball 6.2 times. That's putting him in the 95th percentile. He is safer on the ball than 95% of other strikers. Strikers who will be down here will lose the ball more frequently. Let's see how he compares to perhaps Mosconi, for example. Mosconi loses the ball 10.53 times, and therefore he has a smaller slice as a result. The same temperature in Portugal is much nicer. I mean, surely the Netherlands should be good because there's like no mountains, so you just get the breeze from everywhere, right? Yeah, no, I hate the humidity. Hate the humidity. The Crares is playing around with the idea of giving all your players maximum potential, but limiting their ambition and professionalism. Not sure if it's a great idea or a horrible one. Well, Zeratrol has said exactly what I would have said in response. There is only one way to find out. Just give it a go. Just give it a go. And Quadmo, and all those windmills, indeed. Right, Sergio Broccoli is another player that technically... How well? I saw Tommaso Baldanzi earlier. Here's that. He's not been scoring goals. Oh, he's only 29. It's a Sevilla. Yeah, like maybe if he'd been mega creative. Actually, let's see. If we go up to 0.3 and then down to 0.1, is there anyone else that comes up? So if we're looking for someone that's a bit more creative, possibly Michael Elise. We've got enough English players at the moment. Zito Luvumba as well. Zito Luvumba playing on the wings. Good flair and dribbling. Best season for assists though is 10, which isn't that encouraging. He's on... Like, he should have 6 assists, but only has 8. Not convinced on that side. What about if we look the other way around and we say lots of goals, but not so much in expected assists? You've got Alberto Motta playing mainly as a striker. That would explain that. I'll look through these guys quicker. We'll ignore Zaniolo because he punches children. Denilson dos Santos. Been not playing enough minutes really to judge there. Down in lower leagues, he's done okay. I don't think we're... 1.7 million is great, but yeah, it's not necessarily that exciting. Guerrero, perhaps. Lots of goals. He is scoring for fun as an attacking midfielder. Not that creative. I'm guessing we don't have much information on him right now. So that's definitely not what his attributes are going to look like once revealed. Let's get him looked at though. Rutter, perhaps. Been playing as a striker rather than attacking midfielder, but can do it. Yeah. Good flair. But again, not much in terms of the scouting report there. And then there's Mikael Oyarzabal. Mikael Oyarzabal has been playing kind of everywhere. He kind of does a little bit of everything. Hasn't been starting much. He's now 35. He's just joined them on a free transfer. I think we work with the list that we've got. Right, so I'm not sure how the clogs will help with the wind. So if it gets too bad, have a cookie. I mean, that's always a plan. Depends on where Netherlands you are, but if in Amsterdam and the canals, of course the canals would indeed, yeah. The cookie solution is valid, but my save is so deep now I don't want to ruin everything. That's also fair. That is also fair. Hungermin, it is hot in Vietnam too. What? I mean, I'm scared to ask what the temperature is in Vietnam. I imagine it is crazy warm right now. So what's a good period to visit Vietnam? You've considered going there to scuba. So go now. Go now. It's the summer. Surely you want to go when it's coldest, because our European bodies can't comprehend the heats of a Vietnamese summer. Surely. That's still better than the Fire Festival. Zerachal will wait until the leaderboard. Well, actually, Zerachal, you just need to wait a few more weeks. Go in like the last week of the leaderboard. You just need to build up a nice big lead, and then you don't have to worry about falling behind for the next one. So Rich Sun, hotter and hotter for a long time to come, I fear. That's fair. Guilherme, so if you pop on over to the link where the skin is hosted, there is an FAQ section that explains how to change the colors of the pizza chart or the attributes or everything altogether. And that's in any website where the skin is hosted. So just check out the FAQ section there. So that's your big brain thinking. I mean, you've got such a big lead already, you know, you could probably go for the next few weeks. Hungdamin says Vietnamese beaches are not in holiday mode during winter. That's fine. I don't need people to make sure I'm safe. I'll go scuba diving and probably drown. But at least I could cope with the weather. So I really like the idea of Arda. Sanchez is a nice little backup option. But Arda hasn't played enough minutes for us to judge on. But when he did play, that's 30 goal contributions in 45 games in the Liga Portugal. 13 goal contributions in 19 games whilst with us at Milan before we took over. And he also had another 14 goal contributions earlier on in that season as well. Is he going to be affordable though? Oh, he is affordable. Under 300k a week. Brings that down to under 250. Oh, that's a yes. Let's spend that cash. Arda Güler. And then we were wanting a defence midfielder for the following season. And possibly a centre-back. Let's focus on those two deals first. And then see where we can go from there. Because the other ones are more long-term looking. So Martin Savenka, we've agreed a deal on. We have coverage in those positions. Barbieri, Ricci. No harm in that. So important player, win Serie A next season. That is certainly our aim. We'll say no to the sell-on percentage. We'll say 195k. That'll jump up, but if we can get him around the 215, 220, I'm happy. 215, let's drop that back down to his initial offer of 205. Cool. Yeah, oh, he's affordable. That will do. That will do. So you really should go in the summer. Winter is not Vietnamese holiday period. I don't want to go when everyone else is there. I definitely don't want to go there when the weather is hot. Obviously, if we have more than one option, we choose the oldest one. Exactly. Yes, Samada action. He's affordable, all right. Like from a perspective of wages, 100%. So inflation, 84 million affordable. So no RJ, I didn't want a back. I want someone to compete and rotate with Cole Palmer. But if we couldn't find a starter, I would be happy to spend less on a backup, which is why we shortlisted Alvin Sanchez. So we would change our approach depending on what we feel the player coming in is, if that makes sense. Any point, Cervenka isn't playing currently for Slovak, so he is playing for the B team. So I think we buy him now. 140k, that's reasonable. Send him on a language course. Pop him up for loan and try and get him some game time out on loan somewhere to kind of help that development, perhaps. So that's the hope there. Results around us. Inter, Blue. They didn't play. Beautiful. So we have a 3-point gap there. We've played the same amount of games. It's exactly what we want. Damn, we need Anthony. Sadly, I'm never going to go for Anthony. Let's be fair. But thank you for the hydrate. All right, Theo, we're expecting to lose. Bajic, they need to be offering like his wages. 10% is not enough. See if we can get someone to bite on actually spending money on him. Sadly not. Gyökeres, we're quite Gyökeres moves into channels, which is something we didn't really want from our poacher. So not the greatest match, which is why we're looking at players like Skamaka that I think would be better in that regard. No wages covered. If you cover half, we've got a deal. So no, we have no deal. Contract extension's done. We're not following up on Luca. Our next game is against Fiorentina, who we've just beaten 5-1, so we're guaranteed to lose that this time round. But it is in the Super Cup. It's not exactly a particular importance to us at all. All right, so Inter are playing today. They now jump ahead of us on goal difference, but they have played one more game than us. Oh, Pinamonti. Pinamonti's the kind of player as well. He's also on not for sale. Why are they all not for sale? So Spitfire, can someone tell me if the pizza chart resets every season? Yes. When the game moves over between seasons, it doesn't archive advanced statistics. So you need to keep a save point before it rolls over, or export the data if you want to be able to access previous seasons information. It's a final. It's not a final. It's a semi-final. It's a semi-final. It's just like any other cup. Did we press continue? I know, it's shocking, isn't it? Shirameni wanted crazy wages. So we're not going to make an offer there. El Rami's got this crazy injury. I think it says he's out for 5 months. 2 to 4 months. If he's demanding crazy money from us, he might well be demanding too much money from Nice as well. And with the injury, he might not get offers from other teams. So there might be a situation where, come closer to the end of the season, that's the word I'm looking for, close to the end of the season, his demands might change significantly if it's looking like his contract's going to expire with nowhere to go. So, because he's a very, very, very good player, just we're not spending that. We've spent so much effort getting rid of all the players that are currently on these crazy deals. We're not going to then start offering them out. Right, so into the game. We've got everyone back pretty much. So we have a game against Empoli away from home in a few days' time. We will do a little bit of rotation. We're going to get Bonato back into the starting lineup. Going to give Nuama a bit of a rest. Going to give Rocha and Kari a rest. Going to bring Pizza Pasta in at right back. And we're going to rest Bjorn Rod. Theo we'll bring on as a substitute. We won't start him. I think that should be all right. Now we'll need to do the standard things, reacting to their lineup once we go into the game, so that we can sort out our marking instructions. It's the hardest of all them spoken tongues. Indeed, English hard. It is very hard. It's very hard. Is that the same? Looks like they've made a handful of changes as well since we played them last. Let's talk about the media. We've been saying no pressure for a while. Let's go and use the media hype potentially. So Volpes is the player we're going to watch. Molinari with our left side, Volpes with our right side. Molinaro with our right side. Molinaro with our right side. Molinaro with our right side. Beautiful. Volpes with our left side. False 9 should be on Bianco. He is indeed. That is marvellous. Cool. We're finally going to play a game. How about that? How about that? It's Mathias Almeida's Fiorentina. So Adam asks, can you ask about the stats when looking for a centre-back? I've sent in Stinger's recent videos, which are great by the way, that he looks at possession lost and possession won per 90. Am I right thinking that's contextual based on how much a team has the ball? Yes, it is. If you want to pop on over to the Moneyball Clinic Chelsea series, so specifically episode 2, where I talk quite extensively about possession. There's a good start. Is it a good start? Where I talk about possession adjusted metrics and specifically understanding, I tend to use passes completed as a contextualization. So from there, I kind of judge roughly whereabouts a player is in relative terms. So Cronmo is now trying to speak French. Je voudrais du fromage, s'il vous plaît. You would like a cheese. You would like a cheese. Baguette, fromage, omelette. So, Rich, along with East Asian languages and anything that uses the Cyrillic alphabet. I mean, all languages are difficult, to be fair. As Albert Navarro, that one's not going to be taken away.
Milan have scored again. Yes, Milan, they score night and day. You can get away.
Yeah, all languages are without doubt hard, especially if you're crossing over alphabets, just because they're not innate to you. That's completely understandable. But English does have a pretty special distinction with how much of a bastardization of different roots it is. That's a fine strike from Izzy. Boom, 2-0. We certainly seem to have Fiorentina's number. This is where they're going to pull one back then. Beltran swings it in. Guzman's the target, but Atabolo claims he doesn't even have to jump. Doesn't even have to jump to pluck that out of the air. Yeah, the bastardization of so many languages in creating English certainly makes it difficult to follow the rules because the rules aren't consistent. Volpes sends it across. There we go. There is the consolation. Well, consolation, it's 26 minutes in. There's plenty of time for them to turn this around. So thinks English is easy to learn relative to other languages, but some rules are just bullshit. It's the rules bit that there is so little consistency because there are things that are taken from different languages and adopts their rules in different circumstances, which means it's not a logical language. Right, here we go. Monterisi with the header at the far post. Marzucci beaten, but it's over the bar. Matto is loving the new goal songs. They're all so awful, aren't they? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. They're all Latin languages, to be fair. That's fair. No rules in French. That's the good part. Right, okay, who is this? Is this going to be Palmer lining up the free kick? This is a goal. This is a goal. I'm calling it now. Boom!
Milan, come together, clap your hands, save me. Scoring goals, AC Milan.
Absolutely no way that should have gone in. Marzucci was in a good position for it, but it spent ages in the pre-build up to the free kick being taken, so it was always going to be a goal. That is my completely unfounded belief. It's a Spitfire. Sorry if it's a similar question, but just so you understand correctly, it resets around May, June when the season ends, and you'll have to either have a shortlist ready-made decisions, at least in your head. So Spitfire, it resets when the season resets. That will be different depending on the league that you're in. But generally speaking, so for England, for example, it's around a week before July. Molinari's in behind to make it 3-2, fires wide. So my recommendation is that you save the game, you create a separate save file at that point. Just, oh dear, Beltran should have scored there. Atabolo rescuing us at the last moment. Where's a focus here? So yeah, make a save game, a completely separate save file so that you can go back to it, or export something to a spreadsheet. You can export your list of data so you can access it if you want, or you just do all your shortlisting beforehand. Yeah. So I still don't really know my ins, ons, and ats that well. None of us do. None of us do. Regular verbs, irregular verbs, everything is irregular. It is indeed. Right, we can certainly improve. We are going to drop the tempo, try and just kill the game off a little bit. We're going to bring on Donna Kebab for Kajuste. Kajuste hasn't been great. We're going to bring on Theo for Navarra just to get him back up to some fitness. And let's see how we do in the second half, hopefully. So Spitfire, or like you said, export it and it gave the data handy. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully that's answered it there. Yeah, got it. There we go. Perfect. So Krabman, masculine, feminine. That is the one useful element of English language, is not having to worry about considering the gender of nouns. That certainly helps. Right, 65th minute now. Oh, there's a big chance there. I don't feel like we have killed the game off particularly. So Belfiore sends in the corner. Monterisi heads it clear. Hugo Guillamon into Carboni. Belfiore, no one's going out to him at all. Corleone with the volley. That's a good save from Atabolo. Let's see. Cole Palmer's coming off because he's a little bit tired. We're going to bring on Zanotti for Monterisi because he's also tired. We're going to pop the tempo back up, but drop down to positive. And then once the substitutions are made, we're going to tell people to focus and they should all get up and happy. Some of them get unhappy. But we have a free kick. It's going to be Theo to take. Theo steps back. Very, very central, but he's going to flick it in towards Izik, who gets there first. Pizza Pasta just... Did he chest that across? I pressed the wrong thing, didn't I? There we go. Back 10 seconds. Was this chested across by Pizza Pasta? It was. It was. Odd. Bizarre, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So Crowdmo is the black sheep of his family who didn't do languages to an insanely high level. I mean, you clearly picked up more than enough for sure. Right, Hugo Guillamon goes in a little bit naughty on Bonato. He's surely going to get his second yellow card. Get out of here, Hugo. Get out of here, Hugo. And we're going to make our final substitution, which is going to see us bring on... No one. We're not going to make a substitution. No point. Let those guys rest. So the thing with England is nonsense phonetics. God, you're right there. Syllables that look the same sound different. Wonders that look different sound the same. And that's the joy of the bastardization of the language, right? Where the words look so similar, but they come from completely different roots. So they have completely different rules associated with how they're pronounced. It's just dumb. Like a boat, un bateau, but still given a female name. I will never get my head around words having different prefixes or it changing the terms before them just because someone has decided that a word is male or female. That seems crazy to me. As Volpez pulls one back. There we go. Can we hold on against 10-man Fiorentina? You would think so, but there was some lax defending. Corleone runs past, takes the shot, gets the ball back to Carlone, turns in. You know, you would have thought that after Volpez got the first shot away that someone would go, I should pay attention to that fella. No, they just let him go for another chance there. It's going to be a nervy last few minutes, and the goalkeeper is up. Malotti with the corner. Coyote's the target, heads it just wide. Deary me. I should probably make some changes, but these players should really know how to see that out. And there we go, a 3-2 win away from home, an all right result, and that gets us into the final of the Supercoppa. I think it's going to be against Inter. They beat Sassuolo on penalties, was it? I think. I can't remember 100%. Oh my God, we're not wank. What is this voodoo? It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It's a 4-2-4. That's what the voodoo is. Let's be fair. It all comes down to that element there. Right. Okay. Let's play a mini game then. So Zoachal, we don't have enough time before the break for us to squeeze in bingo, but that's okay because we can play bingo later. Right now, we can play around a top 10. So for those of you that don't know, let me explain how top 10 works. A really, really simple game. I'm sure you've seen it before. Maybe you know it as Tenable. But in a moment, underneath me there's a thing that says criteria. I'm going to reveal a criteria, and you've got to work out who the top 10 people are that match that criteria. You just pop it into chat. You do need to spell their surnames correctly. You only need surnames unless there are two people with the same surname on the list. There aren't for this, so no worries there. You need to spell it correctly. You can put it in all capital letters, all lowercase, a mixture. You can, if the name has an accent in it, you can include the accent. You don't have to include the accent. It will all pick it up. So in a moment, I'm going to reveal the criteria, and it's then fastest fingers first. So I'll give a little bit of a countdown. We'll say 5, we'll say 4, we'll say 3, we'll say 2, we'll say 1, and then I will say I'm looking for the top 10 all-time goal scorers for Villarreal. And we can ignore the fact that one of them has already been revealed, because I missed that. So I get a point for Giuseppe Rossi. I definitely get a point for Giuseppe Rossi. And Dian Basis gets a point for Diego Forlan. It looks like Crodmo was picked up on Riquelme after abandoning his efforts for B-Hat, Nihat, Kvetsi. And they're all coming through now. Joao Moreno's been picked up. Diego Forlan by Zerachul there. We've got Santi Cazorla for Zerachul as well. Pino's been guessed. Sadly, Pino isn't on that list, but we do have Carlos Bacca, Victor Fernandez, Manu Trigueros. Zerachul is trying to spell a name, but has struggled again. Unfortunately, he's picked it up, though, this time, and he's gone for Bakambu. Is Cedric Bakambu on that list? Has he spelt it correctly, though? That's the question. Because Samuel Chukwueze is on there. And Dian Basis has now come in and stolen Bakambu at the end there, because it's a Bakambu, not Bakambu. Oh, that is cruel, but also so delightful. Once again, you guys have absolutely blazed through that list. The top 10 Villarreal goal scorers: Joao Moreno, Giuseppe Rossi, Diego Forlan, Santi Cazorla, Cedric Bakambu, Juan Roman Riquelme, Carlos Bacca, Victor Fernandez, Manu Trigueros, and Samuel Chukwueze. Incredible stuff. Incredible. Now, Zerachul, 3 misspellings. Spelling is wank. It's tricky. It is tricky. Crabo Nihat was a real sausage. I'm sure Nihat had some time at Villarreal, didn't he? I'm sure Nihat did. I don't think it's an unreasonable guess, especially when you're considering that, you know, outside of Gerard Moreno, the numbers for all-time top scorers is quite low, to be fair. Nihat definitely did. That's what I thought. Giuseppe Rossi is a throwback. Isn't he just, Jigget? Isn't he just? I mean, there were some great throwback names in there, to be fair. Nihat played at... so Nilmar played at... Jigget said that Nihat played at Villarreal as well. He did 3 years. Perfect. Right. And as I said, the reason we did that instead of bingo this time around is because we have a break coming up. And that means we're going to disappear for about 3 minutes. And when we come back, I suppose we're going to move on to... Oh, we've got Inter in the final of the Super Cup. Marvellous. I'll see you shortly. Right, and we're back. And apparently Cadillac have started P1 and P2, and after 4 hours they're back in 17th and 19th. That is pretty atrocious. Pretty atrocious. Zerachel, I agree with you completely. I would have expected there to be more players around that 50-60 mark. Maybe a couple a little bit higher as well. But, you know, there we go. There we go. Right, Theo has agreed a deal to join Alcatia. We do have 2 left backs. We have Navarro, we have Boccas, who's out injured for a week left to go. However, I don't think I can sell Theo now, as I thought. Not just to see our captain, he is our only team leader. So I'm going to keep him around for the rest of the season. He's still really good. And Scamacco's agreed to sign. So let's say yes on that. Move it forwards. And then activate the buy now. The buy now is going to be that same price they rejected earlier. That's all right. We'll do that. That's definitely less than the 24 million we would have spent on Koto. So Koto, we can cancel that now. We can also pop Pineapple Pizza onto the loan list and see if we can get him loaned out to a team that will start him regularly. Registration, Skamaka in. That's our full sweep. Under 22s don't need to be registered, so we can take Pineapple Pizza out. Skamaka can get the number 30. Number 30 there for him. And he shall be here in time for our game against Inter, hopefully. So that'll be nice. Oh, well, he is here for our game against Inter. Sassuolo have offered a contract for Cantero. I don't think Cantero is going to make it. He does look to kind of be okay, but also he's been listed for loan. Nobody wanted him. Chelsea made a bid for as a squad player. Celta Vigo, that's fine. Navarro's happy to stick around. Yay, it's amazing how much things can improve when we start winning games. Skamaka, they're happy with. Bua's a youngster. I think maybe we... Yeah, that's a free transfer. We'll let him stay at Cittadella. We won't try and buy him now. Don't need to. We're going to work on our defensive stuff against Blue Neri. Hopefully that'll be all right. So they're actually P8 and P17. Still, dropping to P17 is pretty awful. The car that started on pole is the one on P17. Lost the lead 3 corners in. I mean, it's not losing the lead that you got to worry about. It's the other 15 spots since. Surely. Right, so what are people's plans for the rest of the weekend? We've got a whole... I'm probably going to guess on behalf of most of you, it's going to involve trying your best to stay away from the heat, which is a very, very noble plan to be fair. Right, our goalkeeper's extended his contract. That's marvellous. Well, our backup goalkeeper. That means we can keep on sending out Haaland, who we think is going to actually have a long-term future with us on loan, so that he's getting regular first-team football. I kind of don't really have any pressing desire to have my backup goalkeeper be a player that I actually want to develop, because there's always going to be someone in their way. Right, so the game against Blue Neri. What have we got after this? We've got a cup game against Atlanta, home game against Napoli, and then Champions League. So, do we bring Skamaka straight in? We bring Skamaka straight in, but otherwise we're going with pretty much a full-strength team. I mean, Skamaka might well be part of our full-strength team, but he's kind of got to earn that at least. So Anita Hammer. Right, Theo, we're not going to rush into the lineup. Suki drops back down to the bench. So the question is between Kerem and Bonato, and I think Kerem gets the start given how well he's performed for us in the last stream. And then it's yet another 4-2-3-1, so at least we know the marking setup for this. So Rich has got to write an assignment report tomorrow. I take it it's due then on Monday, is it? Are you doing what your students have done for many years in the past before and leaving it all to the last moment? I hope so, because that's the only way it should ever be done. Right, something about the fans. I have faith. Zerachal did all the have to do stuff today, so tomorrow is barbecue and figure out what to see on random streaming service. It will be okay. That sounds like a fine day. Security, but 19 and a half more hours of Le Mans, indeed. DM basis, no plans want to try and stay up late enough to watch the match tonight. I'll watch 1 or 2 of the games in the evening, but the 11 p.m. game will be a bit too late. That's understandable. Probably a little wander around town. If the weather holds up, a little walk around the river, but otherwise it's chill time. I mean, that does sound like a very peaceful, relaxing afternoon. Right, Camavinga is more attacking. He's on the left. So our player on the right needs to be watching Camavinga. So you're on Camavinga. You're on the attacking midfielder. You are out wide. So you are on Bove. And that's the plans there. And let's see how we get on. Now, obviously, this is a game that can't finish in a draw. So we will... a draw would be a good result for us. We've always struggled against Inter, well, in the year and a half so far. But let's see. Kari tries getting it over the top. Can't get there. Only as far as Anita Hammer, the clearance. Hammer into Rocha. Digs out across. Palmer tries to win the header. He can't. Navarro puts it back in. Oh, and Skamaka, 1 minute and 30 seconds into his debut. Just missed. I thought that was in. I thought that had looped over the hands of the goalkeeper and in. I was wrong. Oh, Johnson, welcome in. How you doing, sir? Lovely to see you. Nuama in behind Nuama to make it 1-0, and Nuama does.
Turning Milanese when we score goals. Turning Milanese got me turning Milanese when we score goals. Turning Milanese got me turning Milanese when we score goals. Turning Milanese got me turning Milanese when we score goals.
Boom, 1-0. Ernest Nuama, our top goal scorer, scores yet again to put us 1-0 up inside the opening 5 minutes. Can we get another here? Kari from distance stings the fingertips of Hermanson, pushes it behind for a corner. Indeed, that's it. How you doing, Johnson? Lovely to see you, my dude. Rich, it's due on Tuesday, but this one's not too difficult. Harvey, you're right. I have diced with the devil regarding deadlines quite a lot. It's the only way to do it. You need that little bit of pressure that comes from leaving it to the last moment. Zerachal, terrible. It's too hot. You can't even think or spell anymore. No one needs to be able to spell anyway. Spelling's overrated. Koratiba says, if Toyota get better, you'll probably stay on the race, but I do have a nice Czechoslovakian film downloaded. Oh, very interesting. What is that? So when you say a Czechoslovak film, I'm taking it you mean one from like the set. What? Is it a film released between 1989 and 1991, or is it from one of Czechia or Slovakia? Because yeah, like a film released just in that time period is very, very specific, or like a really, really old film. Zerachal, good game from you, under 21 lads. John said, too bad they only got a draw. Did Finland under 21s draw? That's a bit disappointing. Right, here's DeMarco. We need to react. We need to pay attention to the game because there's been a couple of highlights now for Inter as Atabolo puts behind a shot that looked like it was going behind anyway. Haven't really been paying attention, but yeah, momentum has very much switched. So let's see if the shout can be enough to help us see us out the first half, and then we can take a look into the data to see how to hold on. It doesn't look promising because Kiergaard is there. Of course, that was going to happen. As I was saying, you know, let's just see it out. Looks like it's going to be given. It is indeed. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. And we've got the opportunity to shout immediately after conceding. Interesting. Let's do a bit of encouragement then. See if we can get the benefits of 2 shouts potentially. So how close was this? Marcus Leonardo digs it out. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with those. I think he was onside even if you ignore those lines, but those lines didn't seem all that accurate. Right, Skamaka plays it back to Rod. Navarro back inside. Here's Monterisi. We've got loads of space out on the right hand. Nuama. Can he beat his man? No. Instead he goes back to Hammer. He has to go back to recover. Right, Kari. Back to Rod. Into Palmer. He feels like he's taking his time on that one, unfortunately.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me. How do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Rotislav, welcome on in. Thank you very much for the subscription. With your Prime as well, you only get one of them. You chose to use it here. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, Kiergaard. Oh, I need to hammer. Wow. Wow. Can we make it through to half-time? Only 1 goal down. Anita Hammer was there, and he just somehow doesn't get purchase on it. And Camavinga, the man that is being specifically marked by our defensive midfielder, our defensive midfielder was nowhere near. Nowhere near. Oh well. So it's made when they're in the Soviet Union, yes. Oh, interesting. As Monterisi pulls one back.
Milan, Rossoneri. Ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, Rossoneri. They can't take that away from me.
What a crazy end to the half there. So we were really, really good and then fell off a cliff. And then at this moment here, we said, hey guys, focus. Let's see out that first half. And the game went crazy again. So we want to see, where is the possession being held? We've got 37 touches for Benetto out on the wing. We've got 36 touches for Aruno Sangate. Federico De Marco is losing the ball a lot. So we're fine with him having the ball. For us, Nuama's lost the ball quite a bit, as has Kari. But otherwise, that's okay. Skamaka hasn't lost it at all, but hasn't had many touches. And so we're looking at it from a possession standpoint. Again, we've done well in terms of creating chances. Nine shots to their 5. But we're not doing great. So I'm disappointed. We're going to drop that tempo. Just try and get a little bit more control. And then over here, we're going to mark up Benetto. We want to make sure that he has that there. We've got the poacher as well. So he can be responsible for putting Sangante under a little bit more pressure. Let's make sure that we've asked to mark Camavinga. Rocha was nowhere to be seen during that goal. So let's make sure that he's on that responsibility. So there we go. So Alexa, is there a version of the skin just with attributes? I'm afraid not, Alexa. The reason it's called iconic is because the attributes are icons. It wouldn't be the iconic skin, unfortunately, without the icons. Here's Marcus Leonardo driving down the side. Kerem with the penalty. That's a good response in the second half, eh? Marcus Leonardo driving. At least Kerem was trying. I will give him credit for making an effort and not leaving him unattended. But here's a chance early in the second half. It's going to be Lautaro Martinez. Short one up, sends Atabolo the wrong way, and Inter are back ahead. Inter, who beat us in the final of the Supercoppa last year, are on course to beat us in the Supercoppa final once again this year. Atabolo moved a little bit early, but I think he was always going the wrong way. Skamaka now with a free kick. Can we respond immediately? We can't. He fires it onto the roof of the net. And so if we look at the momentum, literally since that point in the half, we haven't really had it. I don't know what changed exactly. Marcus Leonardo now. Once again, he's been causing trouble, namely from the second phases. Home, come on, someone close him down. No one is. So Leonardo has caused problems specifically from the second phases of set pieces. That's where the penalty and the first goal came from. Let's put some effort to put Bove under pressure as well. And let's run these changes up front. We're going to bring on Izuk. We're going to bring on Benato. We're going to increase the tempo. We're going to drop the mentality a little bit. I have faith in you. Let's see if we can turn this around. We might have taken an early lead, but we went down 2-1. We responded immediately. We can pull this back once again. Hopefully, Nuamo is going to be the man who does it. He comes back, plays it inside. Here's Kari now. Jornrod finds Rocha. Rocha goes back, unfortunately, all the way back to the keeper. We're just trying to draw Inter out a little bit. Albert Navarro. Into Kari, first time pass. Here's Benato now, finds Navarro out wide. Navarro, can he get the cross in? He finds Palmer, Palmer in space, and there we go.
For the fans, it's because they see Milan will come on. Let's go mental in the stands. Goals for the fans. It's because they see Milan. Well, come on. Let's go mental in the stands.
Right, so Navarro, Palmer had so much time. He still took it early though. Didn't allow Hermansen to set. Drills it into the bottom corner. That's a good response now. Can we ride this momentum? Look at that, 2.28 XG for Inter. Granted, some of that comes from the penalty spot, but that's better. That is better. But we have tired legs out there. We are going to make those changes because of them. All three changes potentially. It's going to see Mosconi, then Reinders further up. So hopefully three fresh legs. Two of them up in the final third can give us that little edge right at the end. Monterisi now to Kari. Plays it to Mosconi. First time ball. Gets it back from Banato. Now he's going to drive forward. Here is Banato. Brought on as a replacement for Kerem, who conceded the penalty. Banato keeps on going. Banato keeps on. Banato!
And Milan have scored again. Yes, Milan, the score night and day. You can get away.
Banato picks the ball up inside just inside the half on the right hand side, cuts across the entirety of the pitch. Oh, what a goal from Banato. Unfortunately, this also means that we now need to shut up shop, and to shut up shop we're going to drop you back here and you back here. You've still got your marking instructions. You don't, so you need to mark specific position. You're on the left, so that's the attacking midfielder on the right. Have they changed shape? They haven't. So all we need to do is hold on for 5 minutes and another 5 minutes after that. We haven't won a trophy since season 4. This is now season 10. What a goal to win it. I don't care about the Supercoppa Italiana, let's be fair, but I will pretend it's the most important competition that has ever existed now that we've won it. And there is only one way to celebrate it. As we go to lift the trophy, there we go, here we go, here we go.
Turning Milanese, got me turning Milanese when we score goals. Turning Milanese, got me turning Milanese when we score goals. Turning Milanese, got me turning Milanese when we score goals. Turning Milanese, got me turning Milanese when we score goals.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Congratulations, lads. And before the game... Oh no, that's going to take us out of the game, isn't it? Can we watch it from here? We'll go out of the game. We'll go back into the game because I want to watch that winning goal one last time because it was a sensational, such a fitting way to win the whole thing. Beautiful. Exactly. We'll win the fucking league. Exactly. We're gonna win the fucking league. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that. Right, the goal was so good that the highlight starts when he's already mid-flow. And I'll be honest, when he gets the ball off Mosconi to begin with and passes it back immediately, I already thought that was the moment that the chance had gone. So he gets it here, plays it back immediately, and you're like, what's on earth's going on? But here he gets it back once more. And just keeps on going. Drives past the despairing attempts of Prati. Kjærgaard comes back and is just brushed aside. Then the presence of mind to just lift it into the far corner. Oh, Paolo Banato, be still my beating heart. That is a goal fitting of the occasion. Absolutely. Right, let's get these guys rested for 2 days. Go out on a bender. And then we will be playing a more rotated squad in the regular Coppa Italia against Atalanta. Right, during that period, that does mean other teams have played games. Oh, Fiorentina have lost again. If we win our game in hand, we close that down to 1 point between us and Fiorentina. It's a big if, though. A very, very big if, should that happen. So I am the Argentinian god of the football. Wasn't he just? Wasn't he just? Props to Mosconi. Benato only had to tap it in. What an assist. What an assist indeed. Even though he's probably Italian. I mean, let's ignore that particular detail. Right, De Fea's now gone out on loan. That's marvellous. He's meant to be an important player. He only played twice for Viking, which is very, very disappointing in our last loan. But yeah, hopefully now that he's out at Potenza, he'll get a bit more game time and can carry on his development. Rodoslavs, what were you saying, bro? Indeed, Rodoslav, you were just building us up to this moment, building us up very, very slowly to this moment. Right, Vasquez was a player we were looking at. That's all right. We can let that go. Sanato signs a new contract. Marvellous. That is given to our director of football. So for players in the youths and on the fringes, I've just been getting the director of football to do it, which means there's probably going to be some funky deals given out. But we're happy to sell players on if they end up under funky deals. It's all right. Puskas contender right there. Exactly. It's bender time. I expect all of our players to be absolutely shit-faced by the time of the next cup game. We'll just be playing the kids. Right, Cantero, we're not worried about him leaving. That's fine. Arda Güler. 84 million euros is a crazy amount of money. That is what? 77 plus 7. You're probably looking, that's about 76 million pounds. That's got to be the most I've spent in a game of Football Manager in possibly ever. 84 million is cheap. 84 million is well, no, actually what I was saying was cheap was his 200k per week wages. There we go. Arda Güler. Now it's saying that his value is down at 47 million as soon as I accept it. I wish I hadn't accepted that. I really want to know if I backed out and then bid 47 million, whether he would have been 47 million. They're saying my memory is only 2 minutes long. What on earth? What on earth? Right, Arda Güler, our new attacking midfielder. Back. A player who was on loan with us before I joined gets the number 7 shirt. Let's get him welcomed by Kerem. Has Kerem agreed to join Besiktas yet? I can't remember if that news came through. Yep, he has already agreed that deal. So we can take a load of these guys off the list for now. So I'm going to say fully scout them so that I can cancel the assignment, so I don't have to go through and work out which ones are being done at the moment. Hjulmand, he's a bit too attacking for what I'm looking for. Sergio Broccoli. Do I spend 6 million euros just because he's called Sergio Broccoli? He's not been playing well. But he's Italian and he's called Sergio Broccoli. Oh, I know it's dumb. I know it's dumb. Rich, Lars and Sven Bender, the workhorses of FM around the 12-13 era. Great players, genuinely great players as well. You still think they're good. And then I scout them in FM and walk away, indeed. No, we didn't sell Arda Güler, hung them in. He was on loan with us when we arrived. but there was no clause in his contract. We weren't able to sign him at that point. But now that we're looking for a player and we've got the money, we're certainly going to bring him in because it's been sensational. Right, DM Basis is going to nip to the shop and get some dinner. A fine choice. So running and tackling, what's not to like? Exactly. So Bill wants to know if anyone plays Crusader Kings. Got the latest one recently, but haven't been able to get into it. I haven't played Crusader Kings for many years. But I also have never been good at Crusader Kings either. If I'm brutally honest, it's one of those games that I play generally at a slightly easier level than I should be as a fully grown adult. And yeah, I still enjoy it. It's a good time passer. I'm not sure if if I'm actually analysing whether I enjoy it. Don't know. I said, you get the highest amount you've had to pay in any FM game was Lamine Yamal to Fenerbahce for 67 million. That's one hell of a transfer. At DM Basis, it's just going to be something shit to stick in the microwave, but still, food is food. Food is food. You tried it, couldn't like it either. Fair enough. DM Basis, yeah, I am very much in DM Basis thing as if I can play it, no good at it. Still, Zeratul prefers Hearts of Iron. That's so Paradox games. I've like Stellaris I enjoy. But no, Stellaris is the same thing. I like the idea of Stellaris. I don't know if I like Stellaris. Like I will pass the time with Stellaris open. I'm not sure if it's actually what I call fun, but then I play FM. I don't know what fun is. That is all about pain and suffering, right? He tackles, he pressures. Can he tackle? He can't actually tackle, though. And he gets false. We are not signing Sergio Broccoli. So we want a false 9. Let's have a look once again at those contracts that are expiring in 6 months. So Amrani could be an option potentially. A centre-back, a defensive midfielder, a false 9. So let's take a look at accomplished strikers that can also play as accomplished attacking midfielders. And firstly, let's see if there are any Italians that match that. Willy Gnonto. I wouldn't describe him as a false 9. I'd describe him as a winger. Good flair, good dribbling, not great passing or vision. 6 goals, 3 assists. Certainly doesn't fill me with confidence that he's the right profile. Nor has he been at any point in his career. There's no one else majorly obvious there. So we are going to look at Bilal El Khanous. 7 goals, 7 assists at Genk. Playing as a midfielder, sometimes an attacking midfielder, sometimes played everywhere. Not that great. Not an active league. Yeah, maybe not. Even Illich was a player who's playing deeper, can't play as a striker. Oh, that says or. I wanted that to say and. Not paying attention. My bad. Zeratul booted up Age of Empires. Your internet died, so you had a few choices. That's fair enough. You've always got to have like a go-to game when there was no internet around. Bill Houdini used to play it a lot, but like the dynasty aspect of it instead of nation states, that's understandable. So Rich, does anyone play Civ 7? And if so, what are your thoughts? I know a big new patch is imminent. You think your PC specs are on the edge of it, so I'll wait until I get a new PC. I haven't bit the bullet on Civ 7. This is what I've said, I believe, in streams before. The elongated hype period kills all hype for me. Like, by the time it came out, I just didn't give a shit anymore. So I'm happy to wait until, you know, it's had a few patches, maybe it's got a major DLC and things have been reworked a bit, and I'll probably wait until then. So Zeratul stinks balls at Stellaris, so it's a me problem. Oh yeah, I'm shit at it, but so We Cook, welcome in. Glad to see that you've enjoying the attributeless approach. RJ's still on Civ 5, and Rich prefers 5 to 6. No, see, I disagree on that one. I definitely prefer 6 to 5. I was better at 5 than 6, but I think I've actually enjoyed playing 6 more. So Bill Houdini, your partner's on a 2-week vacation, so you've been playing unhealthy amounts of FM again. That's it. See, really, her being on a vacation means you're on a vacation. You lucky, lucky man indeed. Rock, is the Musterman skin updated? Looks different. This is not a public version of the skin. This is something that I play around with. It is available to Patreons. Well, a version very, very similar to this is available to Patreons. But I wouldn't sign up to the Patreon for that reason and that reason alone. But it's certainly worth checking out the README there to see whether the whole offering is something you think would be worthwhile. You get says Civ 7 launch might be even worse than Civ 6 launch. Quite possibly. So Triple M's in, welcome in. I'm doing very well. How are you? People were bitching a lot about Civ 6 as well. They really were. Yigit says Civ 5 Vox Populi is better than Civ 6. Nah, I don't agree with that. But also that's the whole joy of games, right? Is that there's still, I like that Civ tries to go in different routes with each version, because then it's not a case of just a continuation. You've got, if you prefer Civ 5 with Vox Populi, you don't have to get Civ 6 because you feel like it's going to be a continuation. You can just enjoy Civ 5. You don't need an update on it when you've got something that works. So certainly one of the things I really like about the Civ series is that each game offers something new. Denbersec we've been looking at for too long. I'm not interested in Denbersec. Could Appender be our man? I don't see him as a false 9. He's more of a pacey striker, right? He's not been playing much at all. 5 minutes this season. It's been a while since he's played regularly. Nothing there kind of suggests that he's that guy. Are there any? Cody Gakpo was a player we were looking at. I do feel like Cody Gakpo is the right profile, or he was when we were looking at him last season. None of them. No, I'm not convinced. Right, defensive midfielders. Italian defensive midfielders. Tommaso Pobega, I know likes to get forward. I want someone who will sit. Giambattista Pivetta, someone has bid for him. Hasn't played many minutes, so I can't judge on that. I can judge on attributes, and he can tackle. Marking's not great. Dribbling's not great. I don't want someone who gets forward, so dribbling's not too much of a concern. I want them to be tidy. Good technique and passing is okay. No major concerns. Always been on the outskirts with Valencia. Been at Valencia his whole career, basically. And he's currently under bid from a few teams. You know what? As a backup midfield option, no, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Cesarchal should buy the wife and one of her friends a trip somewhere to get that myself. Exactly. Best spent money ever. That's the approach. Rich, Civ games by consensus and active playing seem to get better over time. That said, you're an unfussy person. When other people have been complaining about prior versions, I was perfectly happy playing the game. I probably sit somewhere very, very similar to you in that regard. In that, as long as I can enjoy the game, then I will play whichever. If I got the urge to play Civ 5, I'd just play Civ 5. But I've always found that as long as the game is engaging and I enjoy myself and my time with it, I'm happy. I get that people sometimes have very specific visions of what they want and what they enjoy, and if a game series that they love doesn't necessarily meet that, I can understand how that can impact their enjoyment going forward. But I am far too easygoing in that regards. And so Illich, not as a defensive option either. He tries to get forwards. Yeoman, we've already dismissed. So Monchu dictates tempo's an okay thing there. Tackle win rate 75% is okay. Ball progression's pretty decent. Ball safety's pretty awful. I want to cut down on the number of British players we're signing. Camera would be a player I'd like, but not at those wages. Sander Mork, I know nothing about, has never played a game. We're not looking for young players right now. João Gomez's wages there are much better. Tackle win rate is too poor though. It is, yeah, it's just too poor. Because otherwise, kind of looks okay. McAllister, 275k. I'm not interested in that. Chaiwa, I can't imagine is going to be at the level that we'd want. But it is a league we have loaded. 65% tackle win rate. That's a no. $35-year-old Bruno Guimaraes. I on 275k. That's. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's the player, isn't it? 72% tackle win rate is okay. His possession lost is better than Monchu's. He's progressive compared for how much he's on the ball, but he's not great. But for the memes of it, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it for our Belgian and Scottish contingent, right? So you get Civ 6 became awesome. Whole district thing is an improvement over Civ 5, but at launch Civ 6 was rough. I enjoyed Civ 6 at launch. That was a game I did buy at launch. So we're looking for him. He wouldn't be interested. He's going to keep his options open. So if we say approach to sign, he's going to say no. Okay, that's fine. But we can keep an eye on him at least. A Greek is also worth keeping an eye on. He's been playing for Juve Next Gen, so I don't want to take that too much like seriously. He's not. Yeah, great. So that's not going to be the answer there. I want old people. Let's take a look at Guerra. 74% tackle win rate. Relatively progressive. Slightly better in possession lost again there. Solid. Maybe. I'm not as excited by the prospect of Gurgera. So, Hungermin has a question. Is Demba Ba better than Demba Sek? I mean, who is the greatest Demba of all time? I mean, Demba Ba scored some incredible goals that shall always be remembered fondly, I think. So Rich Sun says, Gamerzak has done vids on Civ. Every time people are not happy, game time drops off, patches, game time picks up, and then it's the best Civ ever. Rinse and repeat. 100%. Always the way. I would love to know. So with these historical game series, like Football Manager / Championship Manager, like Grand Theft Auto, like Civilization, I would love to see what the response would have been like if their first editions were in the era of the internet, because I don't know if they'd be warmly received, and I wonder how that would impact things going forward. But that is all speculation, of course. So Yigit became as in with expansion packs like Gathering Storm. Gathering Storm was a significant step forward. I will definitely give you that. But yeah, I did quite enjoy Civ 6 at launch. I think a large part of it came down to the UI, and I know that people hated the UI, but it was so much easier to distinguish what things were, and the Like it was cartoony, or it is cartoony, but I just found things for being able to distinguish what's going on a lot clearer. So I think that it had always kind of won me over from the start in that regard. Right, okay, so we'll keep an eye on Raskin. He can potentially be our Reinders replacement. Centre backs. Are we going to compete for Manchester Lit and his €1 million per week wages? No, we're not. So young. Let's look at Italians first. A 33-year-old Buongiorno. Go on, let's ask about it. Wants to start the majority of matches. That's not going to happen. If he was willing to come in as a backup, 100%. 100%, but not there. Andrea Savasta is a youngster. We don't need to worry about that. Don't want to be young players. None of that nonsense. Lisandro Martinez is left-footed. His header win rate of 54% is a no, though. Antonio. It's left-footed. 89%, 100%, but doesn't play much at the moment for them. But taking a player off a rival isn't a bad thing. Couple of seasons out on loan. Now 22 years old. Can't head, lacks bravery, so that's a no. And like we've got DeFeo, we've got Vujicic coming back from loan next season, so maybe that's not as pressing of a need. I don't think it's as pressing of a need, actually. Okay. I think we're all right. We'll keep an eye on Raskin. Hope that when he comes to the end of his contract, he'd be interested to join as a fourth choice. I think otherwise we should be pretty well set for approaching the transfer window in the summer. I think we've got the options that we need with Scamacca and Arda. So hopefully there. That aggression makes him a solid boy. I mean, that is a fair point. A fair point. Milenkovic is about to come back, and we can't extend him, bless him. So you respect your opinions, of course. This is the beauty of video games. People would pick them apart. They would, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? Wait, did someone say Raskin? Raskin is on our shortlist, DMB. All for you. All for you. We're going to send Atabolo away. That's going to mean that one of our unfit goalkeepers will be playing in the next game. How far away are these two? Boccas can make the bench. Fusari does as well. Do we send Fusari or do we send Bajic out there? Bajic is actually the better goalkeeper. It's just he's a dick. Right, okay, we have a mystery minigame. So I should probably say we might well play a bit of bingo. Let's pop on over. We've got, let me get the links and browser. Cool, so if you guys haven't played bingo before, pop on over to that lovely link that's appearing in chat now. The way it works is you join into the game and every single player gets a unique bingo card with 16 squares. Those squares will contain like clubs or players or managers or competitions. We then all see the same list of 60 players in the same order, and we've got to work out whether they match one of those squares. If they do, we click on that square. If we don't, we skip. We get 10 seconds to make a decision. And the idea is to try and match 16 squares. Once you click on a square, it's locked in. You can't undo it. You can't put another player in that square. So if you're not confident, don't necessarily risk it, because you can't fix it when you see the right answer come along later down the line. And we'll give it about 90 seconds or so to give people a chance to sign up, and then we'll head on in. Now we have a little, I keep track of the scores that we pick up, and the way that we take the scores forward from this is the top 5 score points. The person in first gets 5, the person in second gets 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. I exclude my score in it. So if I come second, then the person in third is actually second, and so forth. And obviously, if you've got tied points, if you've got 4 people who've all got bingo, they will all get 5 points. The next person will be in 5th, and they'd get 1 point. So the internet was an active thing from the mid to late 90s, but population was different then. Wasn't expected to breach 40% of total people. I think maybe you mean internet from iPhone onwards, where it accelerated and became toxic. I mean, no, I mean that so I wouldn't say that the population was different then, but I think that the usage of the internet was much more limited, even in the mid to late 90s. You know, when it was kind of walled away behind dial-up and various things that meant that usage became restricted and people weren't as chronically online. So kind of the usage of the internet was directed slightly differently. Yes, forums existed, but your time on it was slightly more finite. So arguing the toss over whether you're happy or not with what's a criticism that I've seen come up? Oh, bullshit's woke. That nonsense, wokeness in video games. You just wouldn't waste your time on it, right? Whereas now people have no lives and they're going to waste their time on it for yonks. And that's a good cue as any to pop on into the game. So I'm about to press start. So check on over on your browser, because there will be a slight delay, obviously, between me talking and what you see on the screen here. So how good as Arda at set pieces? Pretty good, I'm assuming. I think he's all right in that regards. You get. So Krez says there is this graphic where you can see the rise of mental health issues when the iPhone is released. Based. That is crazy. That is crazy. iPhone was sad, some worse in my opinion. That's as a teacher, you've seen it firsthand the way kids change from that period. That is also fair. I find it crazy, like the idea of using your phone. Like I had a mobile phone in school. That was like when I was maybe 15, 16, and it was kind of there in case of emergency and nothing more. The idea of like actively using your phone in school seems absolutely crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. Let's skip that there. Santi Cazorla. He's got to match some of these, surely. Yeah, even if he does, I'm skipping. Matic for Chelsea or United. Or let's go with Man United. Left-footed for Robertson. This is Ertrol. Apart from Twitch and FM streams, those are OP and all lovely people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even you, Crudmo. Oh, now we might be taking it a little too far. Just a little too far, right? Population on the internet was different then. As you said, people who can afford dial-up, a PC, really good laptop. There was an economic filter. That's fair. That's fair. Like Marcel Desailly, Luis Alberto, 92 Alberto. That's the Lazio one, right? Give that a skip. Joel Matip. Played in Germany. He's not German. A skip on that one there. Mark Overmars. Possibly won the UEFA Cup. I don't know who's won the UEFA Cup. So Jamie Gittins hasn't played a game yet for Chelsea, so that won't count for Chelsea. I'll deliberately say that out loud in case anyone else has the same combination. Mustafi, we'll skip on Mustafi. Koscielny, I don't know much about Koscielny's history outside of that. Emi Martinez, would have been nice to have been able to play him as the World Cup winner. Sadly not to be. Frank Leboeuf, we will put with Chelsea. Guerreri, I know nothing about his career. Modeste. I feel like Modeste has played with Ribery, but I'm not going to play it. Allison. Going to skip that one there. Juninho Paulista. Who is the best Juninho? Who is the best Juninho? Is it Paulista? Is it Pernambucano? Is it a mystery third Juninho? Miguel Clichy. Not feeling good on Clichy either. Naby Keita. Liverpool. RB Leipzig. Don't think he matches any of those. Kluivert. La Liga Golden Boot at some point, maybe. Don't feel confident. Pastore. I don't feel confident about either. Marcelo Brozovic. Feels like someone who could have won the Europa League. We'll go with it. Domagoj Vida we're going to skip. Cengiz Ünder we will play in Turkey. Merid Demirel's going to skip. Tyre Kezman. Not confident on that. Tadic. Ince. Joe Cole. Kylian Mbappe we can do with Ancelotti there. And so with Ribery, we're probably mainly looking for Bayern players, right? Or French players, I suppose. Bruce Mertens, Craig Bellamy, Thomas Gravison, Cesar Azpilicueta, Morgan Gibbs-White, Diego Llorente, Tammy Abraham, Roy Mackay, Luis Suarez, Manuel Neuer feels like a reasonable one to go with there. So the 40% figure you mentioned, Scandinavia were racing ahead in internet speeds and participation, but stopped at about 40%. Was that an online learning conference in Cambridge back in the day? And the thought, as well as widely reported, is that 60% of people would not really use the internet for the foreseeable future. I'm writing from lived experience at the time. Indeed, indeed. So is this elitism? It is elitism. It is absolutely elitism. A DM basis ran out of players. 100 min finds bingo impossible. 30 for RJ. Consistency. Consistency is the important thing. We've missed out. So Brozovic didn't win the UEFA Cup. Kluivert never won the Liga Golden Boot. But we do have two very, very glorious looking bingo. Who's there? Johnson and draw. Congratulations, gents. Sensational work. GNG just one off. Just one off. Then to be followed in fourth by Matto, in fifth by Crudmo. But we still, as always, have a Zerachul to come. We always have a Zerachul to come. So medical car, welcome in, by the way. Only got 4 this time round. Got stumped by the left-footed tile. The left-footed tile was cruel. That's the first time I've seen such an option on there, which I was quite surprised by. But I suppose, it's nice to see a little bit of a change up in those regards. So Matto thinks that's the best you'll ever do. It's a sensational round. 14 correct, just 2 off a bingo. I'm pretty delighted to have got 42. More importantly, I've beaten Crudmo for once, just for once. Ooh, bring that down a little bit too quickly there. So we will pop back on over to the game, and when Zerachul pops up, we'll see whereabouts he finishes, whether he's knocked anyone out of a scoring position or not. And we will head into, hopefully, we've got 10 minutes before the next break, so we should be able to squeeze in. I do have a couple of snoozers left as well, so I can push them back a little bit, which is all right. So we'll head into the next one, and then we'll probably pop into a break after that game there. So Ivan Illich keeps on coming up. Zerachul says he's done so bad, and that's because Zerachul has come in. Wow. Time to dock points from Zerachul for that comment. How dare he? How dare he? He claims it's so bad and yet gets the same score as me and Matto. I will have you know that it's a very, very good score. And if you think it's bad, you don't deserve points. Just joking with you. Just playing with you. Right, so our rotations will look like... Pardon me, we'll get Theo back in. Zanotti to start. We're going to play Reinders and Conjuste again. Mosconi. Arda to make his debut. Benato in. Scamacca to get him up to fitness. Hopefully that'll be all right, I think. So it is a very rotated squad. I am a little concerned about the lack of fitness for our goalkeeper. I expect him to concede every single shot on target. I don't think I've ever seen a goalkeeper who is short of fitness come in and play well. Right, media have given us credit. I trust you. I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Let's go and get ourselves another win. That would be nice. Let's pop this back onto TV. Speed back up as Arda looks to find Monterisi, just a little bit ahead of him. Turati claims it. Turati was a goalkeeper that we took a look at. We considered signing him in the summer, went for Atabolo instead. Bonato now. Oh yeah, Atalanta are down in Serie B. We should win this. Scamacca fires it off the post, looking for a goal on his home debut. So RJ can never get UEFA Europa League winners. That's crazy. Whenever I'm playing UEFA Europa League, it is pure guesswork. It is a delight when it comes off. So Kvaers was at the offices of the biggest telecom company in Norway. He said that when they built, Scamacca again denied, but he's offside. Biggest telecom company in Norway. He said that when they built 3G infrastructure, they thought that would suffice for many, many years. RJ, yours was easier than mine was easier than RJ's. For once, it's real. You're always saying that. Always saying that. So good. Wasn't it sensational? 2 bingos, draw, and Johnson there. Sensational work. So Rich, while you was waffling about historic internet, you missed the first 19, so a score of 30 is okay. A score of 30 is good even if you didn't miss the 19. I maintain that anything above about 2 you should be happy with. I thought Matic was Vidic. I was going back to blaming Heat. I blame the Heat 100%. I always say that, but this time I knew better on yours. Of course. I will 100% support your statement there. I'll try to stop smiling smugly while saying that. Diego Godin has worked for me the last couple of times. So Diego Godin, for UEFA Cup? Damn, should have saved that one. For Euro League winners. That's good. Johnson giving us the secret of his knowledge. Here's Raquelme, feeds Sudakov. Now Bordeaux's in behind, and there we go. Is that the first shot on target from Atlanta? Is the goal going to stand? It's going to be disallowed. So even if it was, it doesn't count. Here is Sudakov. I mean, Bordeaux was offside pretty much the entirety of that move, but it was a reasonably nice bit of play. We are in the demand more stage because we've seen the script. When I say script, I don't mean the game is scripted, just to be clear. That's very zoomed in now. Let's take reversed off. Here's Arda. Arda now. What can he do? He can send the ball in low and Bonato can sweep it away. Are there any doubts? There are no doubts. That was quite nice movement from Bonato there. He waited for the cross. He then saw the defender was tied up following Scamacca. Drove into that gap to receive the cross. That's not too bad. Not too bad. Now here is Scamacca holding it up. Bonato takes aim again. And that's just over with his weaker foot. Would have been a very, very fine goal with his weaker left foot. You thought Diego Godin was Spanish. That's a shame. Seems like 84 million well spent. I mean, I'm happy to proclaim that he is a bona fide success off one half of football for sure. Here's Scamacca knocks it into the path of Zanotti. And is that the second time we've seen a chest pass? That is quite peculiar. I mean, I have seen it a couple of times in the past, but to see it twice in the same evening is definitely a surprise. Now here's Mosconi in behind. Mosconi, unfortunately, had the whole goal to aim for, decided to aim it at Turati. And last moments now before the end of the first half. Gula sends it in, Monterisi beaten. It's another corner. Another corner. But Nato's on fire, isn't he just? Isn't he just? Welcome in, Terry Screwloose. How are you, my dude? Lovely to see you. Zanotti. We need to have a way of changing what player is outside the box. I swear, when we play short passes from the left-hand side, it's to a right-footed player who then shoots with his left foot. And then when it's the other side, it's we pass it to a left-footed player who shoots with his right foot. Because I've seen Navarro in that position and score a couple of goals, to be fair. Right, yeah, you can perform better. 1-0 at home against the Serie B side probably isn't going to be the kind of thing that you know, we write home about. Monterisi will come off. Pizza Pasta will come on. Just about getting game time, managing the minutes of some of these players, making sure they're rested, hopefully. So John, so you feel that the best strategy is to pick one or two categories you feel you'll struggle with and just focus on them until you get someone. That's very sage advice. Very, very sage advice. As Banato is there, straight from kickoff. Straight from
Goal for the fans, it's because they see Milan will come on. Let's go mental in the stands. Goals for the fans, it's because they see Milan will come on. Let's go mental in the stands.
boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Gotta love a bit of Claxons. So Rich wants to play 86, 87 database. Can't decide who to play. So many interesting choices. I mean, surely you start with Sunderland, right? Surely you start with Sunderland and then just work through. We've got 5 months potentially until the next game. Let's see. So you can play multiple saves. Skamaka now. That's got to be a goal. That is. Skamaka seizing on the error.
Milan have scored again. Yes, Milan. The score night and day. You can get away.
It's a horrible defensive error. Very, very similar to the one we saw Anita Hammer make for us in the last game. And Skamaka seizes on it, gets his goal on his home debut. And that's 3-0. We've got to feel pretty confident that we're going to see this out from here on in. Now, we are going to look to make a couple of changes. Theo perhaps to be replaced by Bokkers now that he's back from injury. And can we see maybe Doner Kebab can come on in midfield? I'm looking at Grinders being the most tired of the two. Otherwise, I don't think I want to make any other substitutions in this game if we can avoid it. Let's say if we can keep as many of our start. There we go. If I can avoid it. I certainly can't avoid it though when it comes to injuries. So we will bring on. We're going to bring on Kari. We're going to move a lot of players around here. We're going to go Doner Kebab. He plays centrally. So Pizza Pasta to the right. Kari, Kajuste. Zanotti will become the winger. So you don't play enough with star players to see it off. And that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So Sunderland is too depressing in that time. That's also a fair point. But isn't that the joy of rewriting history so that it's slightly less? And Zanotti is now injured. Wow, they're just like whoever plays right wing, we're going to hurt them. We're going to hurt them as much as we possibly can. On comes Kerem. Let's see if Kerem can pick up an injury in the last few moments of the half as well. So Terry, you're good on FM23 mobile. You're playing as Rakov Czestochowa in Poland. Paolo Benato gets his hat-trick. That is pretty significant win there. 4-0. Paolo Benato with the hat-trick. Skamaka with the home debut goal. All pretty much par for the course. So yeah, you're playing as Rakov Czestochowa in Poland. 3 out of your back 4 is under 20 and you're flying in our top Europa Conference League group. Fabulous. The Polish League all with free signings, so I'm happy. One match we lost was one leg of a qualifier. Drawn 2 matches and won the rest so far. And I was going to say, as soon as you mentioned the extra class, I expect to see a DM basis. There he is indeed. We don't need a hammer. We will need a hammer, like we're running out of players on our right-hand side. John, sir, Germany have just knocked England out of the World Cup of darts. How about that? Right, there we go. 3 weeks for Zanotti, 3 days for Mosconi. That's not too much of a concern. We have got Genoa in the next round. It's all right. Let's get these guys rested up. Pizza Pasta played a significant amount of minutes so he can get a rest as well. And that brings us into the next break. So I will see you guys in, guess what? 3 minutes. See you then. Right, and we're back. We're back. Matto, thank you very much for dropping by. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Cool. So, Zerachal says no stream Wednesday next week. A day you're away. Perfect. Indeed, it is literally pretty much all about Wednesday as well. I was a friend's 40th birthday, so I won't be around on the Wednesday. So it makes sense just to carry on this Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. Kind of makes it a little bit easier, thankfully. But I'm going to pretend it was because it was to make specifically to work around your schedule, Zerachal. So Rich is asking Johnson, did Germany play really well? Did England play badly, or a bit of both? So with England now out of the World Cup of Darts, I know nothing about darts. I mean, I know about darts, I just don't watch darts. Who does that make the favourites now? Because I would have assumed that with the the Lukes are the people whose names I see mentioned winning a load of things. So I assume they would have been the favourites. I may be completely wrong in that regard. Cronmo, whose birthday is it? It's a couple of weeks early for one of the five-a-side lot. The younger brother. The younger of the two brothers that isn't where neither of them live in Canada. There we go. There's the as minor a hint as I can give. That should narrow it down. I mean, I say that, I don't know how many groups of brothers now play five-a-side. So Johnson says they're both solid, but Germany was so clutch on the doubles. That'll do it then. Then I'll do it. Right, we are in for the next game against Napoli. The next game against Napoli, and that is going to be our lineup. So I'm going to keep Arda in. I don't know whether we'll be able to register Arna for the Champions League. So we will have Carl Palmer for that. Obviously, we keep Benato in the starting lineup. He's earned it. Otherwise, we kind of move back to our main thing there. So yeah, there we go. Into the game. Hopefully, we can this can really close things up in the league. So we'll stick with the media. Let's say I have faith. Let's see if anyone responds any better. Doesn't there at all. We are going to be. So we don't have an attacking midfielder to drop back on. We will be mindful of Schlager is more attacking. So if we have these guys watching their men, so that should be Schlager, Mimbella. He's on Mimbella. That's perfect. Benato. Who on that back line would we probably want Benato? We don't know. We want to find which player ends up getting more of the ball. So it looks currently like it might be Silla. So let's pop you on Silla for the time being, but there is a good chance that we end up changing around who he follows during the course of the game. Right, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It is indeed, Crobbo. So performed in the big crucial moment, a bit like on penalties. That's good. I like the analogy there. So England were absolutely favourites. There are about 12 majors in darts, and I think one of the Lukes holds all but one of them. That's essentially where my knowledge is. So like every time England meets Germany, indeed, it does sound like a beautiful analogy of England in every sporting endeavour. So it's quite open now. England are out. I'd assume Wales are now the bookies' favourites. Fair enough. I can't say I even think of. Is it Geraint Price? Is he a Welsh? That's a Welsh name for sure. That is very much a Welsh name, right? So I would expect. I don't know if he plays darts, and if he does, if he still plays darts. Right, Monterisi is the target. Gets there. Merritt claims it relatively easy. So we've had a couple of chances in these early exchanges. Another set piece. Benato sent it in. That's a penalty. There's a push. There was a push allegedly. Federico Dionisi points to the spot. Who takes the penalties? I actually don't know. So it's going to be Arda Güler. Arda Güler steps up from the penalty spot, and it's saved by Merritt. Arda Güler on his debut finished the game with 2 assists. Then in his first league game for us, sees his penalty denied. What What a disappointment. Right, let's get a little shout out there. Because whilst momentum has been in our favour, maybe not been as fluid as we would have liked to see. We'll go. In fact, we did a little bit of shouting, and that meant that Napoli improved. Here they are with a throw-in deep in the first half. We're just about to enter into injury time, and Montanaro has the ball. Gusto into Esposito. Esposito's shot is well blocked by Rod. Well done, Rod. Right, corner now. Going to be taken by Schlager. Left footer. In swinging. Rod, though, gets there, gets it away. Nice and easy. Sucic gathers, and the highlight ends. A nervy moment right at the end of the half there. We've had a couple of chances. Let's take a look to see what we're seeing possession-wise. So, Montanaro has had more of the ball than Silla. Gusto's had a lot of it as well over out there on the right-hand side. Schlager's seeing a lot of it. So that's going to be my areas of focus. Right, I'm disappointed with how we've been playing. We're going to have less of it, I think, because they've got loads of bodies in that backfield area. We are going to say, I want you now to pay... I put him on Silla. Maybe they've swapped around to Silla and... Yep, Silla and Nathan swapped around, so that's okay. That's not his fault there. Opposition, let's put pressure on these guys that are getting a lot of the ball. Let's make sure that we don't give Esposito the space like he did. He managed to roll his man far too easily. Guler's rating is a result of, like, he's missed a penalty, so to still be on a 6.4 is not too bad, all things considered. And I think we just drop the mentality a bit, just to try and get a little bit more control going into the second half. That's the hope. Evening in, welcome in, Cougs. How are you, my dude? Lovely to see you. How's the weekend so far? So Johnson says there's an English guy at the Worlds a couple of years ago who said 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup after beating a German guy. He still gets booed every time he plays in Germany. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Right, we're going to increase that tempo. We're going to bring on Carl Palmer. We're going to bring on Tijani Reinders. We can't really press anymore. Let's take counter off. Let's be a little bit more smart in our approach play. Let's not try and push it into the bodies too willingly. So it's a big clash in the quarterfinals of Darts Republic of Ireland versus Northern Ireland. Oh, that feels pointed. Here's Gusto, sends it into Sucic. Sucic turns past Rod. Navarro can't get there, and Pio Esposito punishes us. Oh, no. So it's Gerwin, Price, and Johnny Clayton are Team Wales. Maybe you've heard of Price. Yep, Gerwin, not Geraint. There we go. So, holy, that is an Ireland derby, isn't it just? Isn't it just? Peter Wright is the guy with the mohawk. That's all of Zerachul's dart knowledge. You and I are on a similar page. Right, okay. Here we need to run a change. We're not going to concede again, are we? Atabolo plays it out wide to Navarro. Navarro into Palmer. Palmer on as a substitute. Can he turn the game around? He can get it back to Rod, though. That's something, I suppose. And he goes all the way back to Atabolo. This is not a good sign. This is, though. Skamaka now. Skamaka plays it to Nuama. Nuama drives inside, cuts it back, and Palmer's shot is blocked. It's a great block. But pressure's still on. Reinders from distance over the bar. And here comes the changes. Nuama is looking tired. So we're going with an Isaac Skamaka front line, which will see us put Palmer out wide. Isaac as a deep lying forward. We're going to take the marking off. And we're going to... I don't think that... I don't agree that Rod was at fault for that goal, but... right, let's see there. We're probably going to need to move up to attacking. Right, so goal kick now. Looking to build up from deep. Nogueira plays it through. That's lovely moving through the lines. But Reinders comes back, does his defensive duty. Theo now. Theo plays it over the top. Palmer Palmer, can he get the ball in? No, he loses out to Kirkes. And here's a chance for Napoli maybe to break. Sends it forwards, Theo reads it. Nogueira, once again, a chance maybe for Napoli to break. But they move back. Here's Hisadomi. Hisadomi into Schlager. We seem to be not pressing particularly intently. That's better. Better there from Rocha stepping out. But now they've come away with it. Sucic. Sucic to Gusto. Gusto coming forwards. Gusto easily gets past his man. Sends the cross into the far post. Anita Hammer. Palmer loses out. Kirkes. Esposito 2-0. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, that's the end of our run in relatively spectacular fashion. I think that's a 7 or 8 game winning streak, and we have been Espositoed. Absolutely Espositoed. As a Cougs, thanks, just got back from a France day trip. Nice, lovely weather. Cannot beat a crepe and cold beer in the sun. Back in time for a bit of FM. Sounds very good. Coritiba's turned off the race to watching Death Becomes Her. A classic. Oh, don't say we're going to concede a third. Sucic now. Sucic. Theo does his job. Gets it clear, but it's only as far as Hisadomi. Gusto. Alright, that's better. We've asked them to close down Gusto, and at least Izik's doing his job. Now Sucic. Back to Nogueira. Back to Sucic. Back to Nogueira. Nogueira into Gusto. Gusto inside to Hisadomi. Hisadomi from the edge of the area finds Kirkes. Kirkes plays it across. Raspadori's shot is blocked. Oh, how on earth are we losing this game 2-0? The last change is going to be... Yeah, Kerem. Like, yeah, whatever. This game is over. Wing back on attack. Drop that down. Let's not play out defence. Let's play a little bit more direct. Let's see if we can get something just to, you know, give our fans to shout about before the game is over. But this game is over. So with darts, you're one of those that when Luke Littler transcended beyond the sport into mainstream, you watched it a bit, the World Championship, but like people watch Football World Cup, nothing else. That makes sense. Medical car, ouch indeed, as Bjorn Rod pulls one back. It is...
Come together, clap your hands, save me. Storm goes AC Milan.
DM bassist, I was also absolutely terrified of Death Becomes Her as a kid. So never watched it as an adult. Okay, I haven't quite gone to that level though. Right, so there is a minute left. Do we have anything left in the tank? We do not. It is a disappointing result. You know, Napoli deserved their 2 goals. We were just a little bit profligate. And so all good runs have to come to an end. Deactive, welcome in. So we are currently in the 2032-33 season. And our chance to close down Fiorentina. Oh, Fiorentina drew as well. If we won that game, we would have been within 2 points of Fiorentina with a game in hand. We have essentially thrown away our chance to go top of the table. In fact, didn't this happen earlier on in the season? We played well. We got ourselves within striking distance of the top of the table. And then we threw it all away with a horrible run. So let's get these guys rested ahead of the game against Sporting. We've got, can we register these guys or do we have to wait until the news article? We do indeed. We can only register one of them, but I think we've got enough youngsters we can probably pull out of the squad accordingly. So, Bockers, Palmer. Oh no, Bockers can be in there. You're allowed 12, not 13. That's fine there. So what was the run? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 7-game winning run. 7-game winning run. Brought to an end at home. That's the bit that hurts. It's the home gameness of it all. Ah well. Fuking Gula, why did we sign him? 84 million euros well spent. 84 million euros well spent. So Bill Houdini, you're 9 years unbeaten in the cup. That is incredible. The misery of playing in a league outside the top 5. I mean, all the joy. So it's campy. Meryl Streep is wonderful. It is very camp. It is gloriously camp. DM Bassist would watch it. I've just never been inclined to do so. Apparently the other one was the Sledgehammer music video, which I have absolutely watched since. Was it the chicken part of the... I suppose because there's lots of things coming. I get it. I don't necessarily agree, but I get it. Maestro would like to take a look at the finance screen. So our finance screen currently looks like this. We took over in around here. So we've recovered things a little bit there. The projection screen is kind of a little bit pointless because it doesn't do a very good job of being able to work out who's likely to be like dealing with things that might happen in the future. It doesn't project ultimately. So there we go. So Bill Houdini, no joy at all. You're only playing for the Champions League games. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So yeah, I hope that's cool for you there, and we will crack on. So there is, I believe, at 9 p.m. this evening, the FM show podcast. I always want to call it the FM podcast show. It's the FM show podcast. Are doing a live phone-in kind of thing. So that'll probably be around the time that we drop off. That'll be, we've been streaming for about 4 hours at that point. So with that in mind, we've got 50 minutes. Let's get through the sporting game, and then we can head on over and send our love and our appreciation and see what glorious things they've got planned for their little live show type thing. So Dear Bassist was a wimpy child, and you're a wimpy adult too, but you was a wimpy child. That's a fair clarification. Bit of Mitch Hedberg for you there. I always preferred Wendy's to Wimpies. See what you did there. Assistant Aaron, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. How are you, sir? If you're comfortable chatting, let us know who you're playing with in FM, who you support. Love to hear from you. But you don't want to. If you just want to lurk, that is absolutely fine too. There is absolutely zero obligation whatsoever to come in and chat. Oh, wait a second. No, we don't need to drop someone out. It's we've got 3 out of 2 needed goalkeepers. I thought that was 3 out of 4 players. Cool. We'll get them both registered, which is nice. Marvelous stuff. So the balance is increasing. Oh yeah, massively. We sold 500 million euros worth of players over the summer. Your client's unhappy because, well, Pizza Pasta, you got some game time in the last match, and you were part of a team that conceded to our first defeat in 8 games. So no. We will just ignore him politely for the time being. Boo, the stream must continue. I'm sorry, dear Bassist. I am sorry. So Maestro is managing Sporting. At one point, you were on 4 million euros per week wages. So we are currently on 3.5 million. But it was about 6 million when we took over. Here we go. It's 6.15. Oh, no, we took over in August. 5.64 million euros when we took over. So we got it down by 2 million, which is nice. It's good to finally be in that position. Right, so we did say we were going to put Palmer in for this game. We're going to give... We're constantly resting Rod because it looks like he's always saying that he needs a rest. So any games that we can drop him out, we do. We will bring in Kerem again for Benato. We'll give Theo his start. And we will give Pizza Pasta the chance to play out at right back. And Reinders. And Izuk. Next game, home against Sampdoria, then Ajax, then Roma. Yeah, we'll run with that. That should be fine. So, Assistant Aaron, you support Villa, a fine choice of team. Arguably the greatest choice of team. So you started unemployed, you've taken the Ascoli job, got them back-to-back promotions to Serie A. Fantastic work. The medical car, can't do that to Pizza Pasta. What did they ever do wrong? Well, he did nothing wrong until he started moaning. We were all good. But we're going back to a case of saying, no pressure, lads. I have faith. Now, Sporting are going to be playing a 4-4-2. Weifert needs to be picked up by Rocha. And therefore, Reinders needs to pick up Barbosa. I'm going to try it with the false 9 not marking someone. If we just focus on midfielders, let's see how we go. I forgot that it's very, very obvious I'm a Villa fan because I forgot I was wearing the kit. Yeah, so welcome in. You're in a fine environment here. Maestro figured we don't earn much to cover the wages. Spent a lot elsewhere. So you brought down the payroll. Still think most months you're going to suffer a loss unless I sell players or reach the final stages of Champions League. I mean, that is understandable. That is understandable. We've had 7 shots so far in this game in the opening 20 minutes. None of them appear to be particularly high quality. 0.4 XG, that's less than 0.06 per chance. But hopefully we can create something here. Here's Suki. Finds Reinders. Now Theo. Theo can feed Palmer. Palmer's got to put that one away. Did he hold his run? He did hold his run. The echo should hopefully be sorted now. Thank you very much for letting me know. Welcome in. Let us have our massive fan. Thank you very much. 2 years of making content. It is absolutely crazy. The 14th of June, 2023, as Theo makes it 2-0. Boom. 2-0. That's better. A little bit more like it. So momentum all in our favour. It has been the only 2 good chances have been put away as Skamaka with a header hits the crossbar. I think that is the 3rd time since he arrived. He's played 3 games that he's hit the woodwork. Is Skamaka going to prove to be a mistake? Is he going to be one of those that just can't quite score no matter what he does? It's all right, though, because if we've got others scoring, if we've got Carl Palmer amongst the goals, do we need to worry about anything else? Right, for a change, I'm going to say I'm happy. I rarely say that in these games. Check to see if they've made any changes. They haven't. Now, I think a win here guarantees us the knockout rounds of the thing, but not the playoffs. I think there was a 4-point gap between us and the team in 25th or whatever position it is. Right, Skamaka to Kerem. Kerem finds Palmer. Palmer has Theo arriving, but Theo arrives late, takes the shot, forces the save out of Inaki Pena. Has a decent enough chance. So anyone staying up until 1 a.m. for Inter Miami versus Al Ahly, I'm going to try. I'm certainly going to try. Adir Basis has got that issue with one of your strikers. Bought in based on his performance last season. He just can't buy a goal. It's so... I think this is something that FM does... Oh no, Nuama's injured. Right, let's make that change in a second. Theo, Kerem blocked. It does very well. His players can really end up out of form. Horribly out of form. And I do quite like that. That is something that you do see in real life. As Gomes should have put it away. He was offside anyway. Blazes it over the bar. Right, Palmer with the corner. Sends it in. Inaki Pena. Reinders. Oh, Sturgeon off the line. Sturgeon. How close was that? Was that the chance, or was it the highlight afterwards? It's the highlight is after. Palmer with the corner. sends it in. Goalkeeper Pena comes for it, completely whiffs. Reinders just gently tries to flick it over, and Sturgey with the last minute intervention. Incredible defending. Absolutely glorious. That is the kind of stuff that you'd expect to see on replays time after time after time. Like, Reinders had the presence of mind to just gently loop it over, but couldn't quite get enough on it. I love everything about that moment. Everything about it. So Percy Johnson's not going to be watching a minute of the Club World Cup. DMBase is going to try, but doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Not sure he'll manage. The trick is to nap a okay, Skamaka has it.
Go for the fans, it's because AC Milan will come on. Let's go mental in the stands. Goals for the fans, it's because AC Milan will come on. Let's go mental in the stands.
Mosconi on as a substitute for Nuama. Swings it in. Skamaka rises inside the box. I mean, like the 6-yard box, he's not missing those. Even if I was worried that he would miss that. So medical cars, considering it if you don't get good touch. It's going to be tricky. I appreciate the hours are going to be funky, which is a shame. But I think it's going to be, I think it was you, Ladislav, who said it. Yeah, seems like a fun tournament with teams you usually don't watch. This is what's great about it. It's being able to see, it's not just teams that you don't watch, but it's teams that don't often get, well, will never get an opportunity to compete competitively against one another outside of this tournament, which I think is great. I think it's really, really nice. Sure, you can have high profile friendlies arranged between oh, is that too fast? That is too fast. Between big European teams, big South American teams, and so on. But yeah, to actually see them in a competitive environment, brilliant. Shame that it's got FIFA's grubby mitts like all over it otherwise though. So Johnson, there's definitely some teams there, but some of the kickoff times are ridiculous and finish time. I mean, that's the nature of international competitions, right? So is that 1 or 2 hours off the UK time? I think they're 2 hours ahead. 1, 2 hours. But yeah, it's like either way, still it's difficult in UK time as well. To be fair, the games might be finished when you're up, but you fully expect Bayern to put 10 past Auckland. But I think some of the Asian and South American teams can have some fun games. There were some absolutely cracking rounds during the group stage. Should be something to look forward to. It is 2 hours ahead. You think Al Ahly will win tonight too? That would be interesting. It would indeed. Right, last sub. Do we have any subs left? We do. Sorry, stoppages left. We do. That's going to see us bring on Donna Kebab. And that will swing Monterisi out wide. Reinders will be replaced there. So the reason you was late was because you was watching a Chelsea streamer. Was talking about how everyone's league comparisons between contents will drastically improve. You hope so. You hope so. You forgot about the African teams involved too. How dare you do that? I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's going to be teams that otherwise you might not necessarily feel compelled to check out a South African top division game. But now that they're going to be playing in a tournament, the scope of the tournament is massive, which, you know, I get that it waters it down for some people. But yeah, I just think it's great in terms of opening up possibilities and things to watch that I otherwise might not have done. Right, that's a better result. That's better. That's the kind of performance we needed against Napoli and didn't get. So that puts us on the cusp. A win would certainly do us some good, but no team from 25th below can jump above us. So we're definitely into the next round. Obviously, that's got to be like the minimum expectation. Nuama is out for 2 weeks, which isn't too awful. That means he misses the game against Sampdoria, Ajax, Roma, Genoa, maybe Sassuolo as well. Plenty of chances for Mosconi to stake his claim in the first team squad there. So let's get these guys. In fact, Mosconi. No, we're not going to rest Mosconi. He only played like 35 minutes or so that's not too much of a problem there. Right, cool. Okay, I was going to say we're going to head off now. We're not going to head off now because I can't see the lovely gentleman online. What we will do though is we'll see. We'll hold on for like 5 minutes or so, but we will then probably be a little bit after if they're going to start much later than that. We probably won't raid out. I'll just recommend popping on over. Cool. So good news that Nuama's not a big injury, so we don't need to like replace him. I was worried that it's going to be like maybe a 5 or 6 weeker, and we might need to bring in someone in the transfer window, but I think we're all right. We'll see the lay of the land though once this round has ended. These games are ended, so we can kind of know what we need in that final game against Ajax at home. We should feel like we can win it, right? So, Kvez, that's my perspective too. Olympics is one of the biggest hits of time. International events are good, but corrupt organisations and added fixture congestion for pure greed is the less appealing part. Absolutely. To be honest, Johnson's surprised how seriously the European clubs are taking it. Coativa says you'll never see Brazilian right back Edelson marking CR7 again. I mean, you never know. There was talk of CR7's next team being in Brazil. Right, so I know they were talking about it perhaps only being short term for this competition, but you know, maybe Brazil is the next step for him. So Dan Basis used to absolutely love watching Al Ahly when they had the likes of Abu Trika. There's a throwback. I still remember when Liverpool lost in the Club World Cup. I think it was to Sao Paulo. That does sound about right. So the 1 billion the prize pool is quite significant. When Corinthians beat Chelsea in the 2012, what a game. Some classic games. Bayern Auckland tomorrow. Bayern Auckland for tomorrow is going to be great. It's going to be great. So if Chelsea or City make the final, they will only have like a 1 or 2 week pre-season. That's the only flip side of things is they need to. I don't know if anyone saw that FIFA Pro have come out and said there must be. We are advocating for a mandatory minimum 4 weeks break at the end of the season for every single player, and I hope that they will actually put that in action and try their best to restrict the number of things that they squeeze into those periods, because it is unsustainable. It's really unfair for players to go through. Like, if we think about COVID, right? So COVID was back in 21. You had this weird truncated, everything got cancelled, and then it got booted back up, and they tried to squeeze the season in, and then they had to start the next season early because of like the World Cups and things like that, and everything all got kind of squashed in. And like for the last 4 seasons, there are players out there who've barely had any time off. And I know they get paid crazy amounts of money. I don't necessarily feel sorry for them, but also your body can only take so much physical exertion, right? Which is like you've got to protect them, and your athletes are the product that you're selling. So really, you should make sure they're in decent condition, like just semi-decent condition. They don't have to be perfect, but give them a bit of rest, coordinated for enough period of time that they can actually properly rest and recuperate. Don't go NFL style where they play for like 3 months and then get 8 months off. That's a bit too extreme. So there's too much going on for the players. I don't think it was a needed change. So I think that it's the league seasons that should be changed to accommodate. Bring every league down to 16 teams. And I know that means that Villa would have been relegated many times over. But something a little bit more gentle, a little bit more chill. So one of the main reasons Chelsea are running a giant squad, indeed. It probably stops many people from watching the Women's Euros. That is a shame. That is a shame indeed. However, I also think that there should hopefully be, we're all so desperate for as much football as possible from a watching perspective. So Dan Basis likes to watch both. Exactly. I enjoy me some football. I will definitely be watching both. Quez says it's so fun when the FIFA guy called out the broadcasters for not willing to pay enough for the TV rights. When it's about money, then he obviously starts to care. I mean, it's a tricky one, right? Because again, you want the players to be compensated. You want the games to be much more affordable. You want watching it to be affordable on TV. And you want those with grubby hands not to get loads of money. And I want football. I want the financial side of football to collapse. I mean, I'm going to make absolutely no bones about that whatsoever. The financial element of football needs to collapse, and let us build from the bottom up. Let us build from the bottom up as soon as we possibly can. I don't mind if it means that we end up with crap players for a few years. But yeah, we're a little way away from that then. So Infantino doesn't care. He doesn't. I think it's 3 weeks, and then it's like 1.5 weeks to the Premier League game week 1, assuming reaching the final. We gave our players 2 weeks off from the Conference League final, and they all just went on international duty. Julian Alvarez has played 140 matches for club and country in the last 2 years, apparently. That is crazy. Crazy amount of... that is unsustainable, right? So Tielemans played 61 games this season. No wonder he got injured at the end. Exactly. And when you consider that Tielemans quite famously has played an obscene amount of games from a very, very young age. Like when Villa signed him, the whole plan was to not have him as a regular starter. He was meant to be... He'd play a lot, but not such an obscene amount of games. So Johnson's been watching less and less football, you feel like. You see, I definitely had a period like in my 20s where my watching of football dropped off and then came all the way back up again in more recent years. So just looking here at the stages we've got left. We've got Brighton have an away game against Real Madrid. We have Man City home against Brugge. That's not going to impact anything there. Paris Saint-Germain play RB Salzburg. That doesn't help us at all. Liverpool play Legia. That doesn't help us. So Bayern and Inter. Lunari play Atletico. Bayern play Copenhagen. We're on the outside looking in, that is for sure. Ideally, we wanted a situation where two of these clubs were paying each other, playing each other, so that if we get the win, we were guaranteed to at least jump ahead of one of them. That's not the case. It might look like we are going into the knockout rounds, or the playoff rounds of the competition. It doesn't look like we're I think the bye, that's what I'm looking for. The buy is very, very unlikely. Right, we've got 10 million from the Joshua Zirkzee deal. Marvellous. Do we have an update on the Caprile deal? 20 league games. 2 games away from giving us an extra 20 mil, which would be quite nice. So maybe part of the reason the Bundesliga was the most unattractive it has ever been. Wow, that is a bold take. I think the Bundesliga is great fun to watch. 140 games, surely that's just one Brazilian state championship. Indeed. James, welcome in, my dude. So personally, think leagues should stay the same as they are, as well as the main cups. But the second, third cup competitions in countries and all the club World Cups and nation leagues are what needs scrapped. Also, stuff like the Community Shield and UEFA Super Cup stuff. So I say, James, I will completely disagree with you. As what we've been saying beforehand is that the Club World Cup offers up that opportunity to see games that you wouldn't otherwise see, and that I think is a really, really cool aspect. So that's my position on it. I want to see competitive fixtures between the best clubs in Europe and the best clubs in South America and Asia and Middle East and Africa and Australia. That last bit was a little bit less convincing, wasn't it? Just a little bit less convincing. Because those rare games are well, there are virtually zero competitive games between the continents, apart outside of the Club World Cup. I'm glad to see that it's finally getting financing in a way to push it to the forefront. But we don't want it to be too regular. I do feel there is a little bit of watering down with the size. So the Crez says the match congestion is a weird problem. We want to see the best players as much as possible and play to their best ability. So the teams could have played the best players less and adapt, but do we want that or less games? You see, I'm a fan. In fact, like, it's 16 league teams. I think of it in terms of FM very much. I find that a 16 team league, generally speaking, is a really nice amount of matches over the course of a season. The absolute antithesis or anathema to the Brazilian calendar for sure. Man United atop. What is this universe? We don't look at that. Fordita, could we get your updated skin? Looks better than the 1.2 version. So no, Fordita, as mentioned before, I know you have been around for these conversations. This skin is not publicly available. A version that is very, very similar is available on Patreon, but I wouldn't consider signing up to Patreon just for the skin. Have a look at the README file over there, which will give you an idea of the whole benefit package and see if that's something you're interested in. This isn't publicly released, and it's never going to be publicly released. Sir John, so about the Bundesliga, it's a very fun league to watch, yes, but there were so many teams that I couldn't give a flying fuck about. But isn't that part of being invested in one of those teams, right? Is that you naturally have a whole load of teams there that you aren't going to be invested in as a result. All right, I can't see what's happening with this live show. Am I missing something here? Has it started and I've just missed the update? Bear me one moment. I'm trying to look to see. Could it be on Size channel or something, and that's why I can't see it coming up? Let's see if we can raid out. Are they going? Have a look on my following list. Can't see them. Sorry, this was much harder to talk whilst I'm trying to read things as well and look through. You see how much I struggle to pay attention to the games whilst we're doing this, but it doesn't look like they're about just yet, which is a little bit of a shame. So I'm probably going to finish the stream here, and we'll raid out to someone else instead. It's not being done on Twitch as it's being done on Discord. That is a very fair point, Matt. Thank you very much. I am an idiot. I am very, very much an idiot. Right, okay. We are now going to end the stream. I'm going to be back on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. British Summer Time. Love to see you guys there. Thank you very much for dropping by. I'm going to close off on YouTube first, and then